for Halloween, we had 12 amazing businesses that decorated their storefronts in the festivities of Halloween, with one ultimately reigning supreme who's with us today. But to give recognition to all the businesses who did participate, we have Sunset Inn, South Miami, Dragonfly Thrift Boutique, South Miami Jewelers, Hand and Stone, Armor Dance Theater, Konos Gelato, Pub 52, La Pizza 1789, Bougainvilleas, Stretch Zone, Amsterdam Falafel, and Garcia Navet, with first place obviously going to Armor Dance Theater. So I invite them up for a few words.
Good evening.
Thank you so much. We are already beginning, my brilliant team here are beginning the winter decorations, and we're just trying to keep up with the decorations that the city has put out for the holidays. They're beautiful. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and thank you for being such a pillar of our community. We're really
Thank
lucky
you
to
so
have you
much.
here,
We're,
headquartered in South Miami.
we love South Miami. We're never leaving.
Before you go, if I can impose upon you, because I don't think people appreciate just what a gem you are and how deeply you reach into so many different communities across Dade County. Could you give us a quick overview of the program and the work you do not only in South Miami, but beyond?
Sure. Well, basically, in a nutshell, at Armor Dance Theater, we've been around for 76 years. It was founded by Thomas Armour for 1949. We basically use dance as a vehicle to remove obstacles and barriers, to create accessibility for all kids. And our goal is really to get them to college and get them educated and get them great jobs. So we are about 400 kids here in South Miami on the 73rd Street site. And then we're at 5 elementary schools every day after school, where we do not only dance, but we do reading, math, social emotional skill building, intervention, obstacle removal. So we've been doing it a long time, and it's been a very, very successful program.
And where are your other satellite campuses or
We're
programs?
at Miami Gardens Elementary, Morningside K-8, South Miami Heights Elementary, South Miami Elementary, and Pine Villa Elementary.
Fantastic. And if I could just, one last question. Who funds that work for you? Who are your main patrons?
Well, we're always writing grants,
Yeah.
right? So we have support from the county. We have a lot of support from the Children's Trust, a lot from private foundations. In the past, we've been funded by the state, but that's a little bit tenuous right now in terms of arts organizations. A lot of private donations, a lot of people who believe in the work that we do. So we're very grateful to all of them.
Well, I was lucky to attend the preview for the Nutcracker, and recognition to the Wilson family. Thank you to them for underwriting that performance. But honestly, we're really lucky to have an organization that touches so many lives all across Miami-Dade County. You guys do exceptional work. As the father of a former dancer before she became a volleyball player, it was some of my fondest memories are in that little studio on the second floor. And so again, congratulations to you. We'll let you get back to the important work you're doing tonight with kids who are still over at your studio.
Thank
Thanks
you
so
so
much.
much, Mayor Fernandez. Thank you, Commissioners.
Can we take a quick picture with your team?
Yes, sure.
Thank you. Let's do that.
Where do you want to stand? This way, this way. Stick up, stand this way.
I'm gonna take a couple.
By the way, it is Giving Tuesday, so if you want to make a donation to the Armor Dance Theater, I'm sure they'd welcome it. So, okay, I think we have, Mr. Manager, one presentation that's not on the agenda. Would you like to kick us off?
Mayor, I think you want to bring forward one of our directors that is going to leave us and go to another position.
He's pulling Lane Kiffin?
I'm sorry? Yeah, we did see a jet plane land nearby, and but our Parks Director, Quinn, is amazing opportunity to continue his professional growth and he will be leaving the city after over 12 years of serving this city and going to the city of Fort Lauderdale as assistant city manager. And so we're certainly very proud of him, and I think the city has been blessed under his leadership and how he's moved mountains as it relates to our programming and our capital projects. So I told him the other day that I have the utmost respect for him and his professionalism, and have appreciated what he's done. And certainly, I did share that I called the governor to doge the city of Fort Lauderdale. So hopefully it's on the list. I would start with his job. But Quentin has been an amazing asset to this community, and we're certainly appreciative, and the fact that Fort Lauderdale felt like he would be a great asset to the team as a compliment to the city and to his work. So I know that you're going to be presenting something, and this is a surprise to him. He doesn't know that this was going to be on the agenda. That's why you mentioned the surprise.
Hopefully we'll embarrass him very well here. So for those of you who don't know Q,
Should make him stand.
he should stand. Come up to the front, Quentin. I mean, he's no stranger to the podium. So, he is the consummate professional. And, if you know his mom, who I worked with on occasion in the city of Miami, you see where he gets, that work ethic and that attitude from. So you really are a credit not only to the city, but to your family. So congratulations. I'm excited for you, even though it's very bittersweet to see you leave, because we have been planning a lot of big things here, and I know you were excited about. But as a city, it's great to see members of our team stand out, be recognized, and get bigger and better opportunities, right? That's all, like any good parent, that's what we want for our folks here as well. So congrats to you. It'll put you a little bit closer to home, which I know it'll make it easier on your wife and your family. So I'm looking forward to you being able to spend more time with your beautiful family and your kids. And I wanted to say that we wish you nothing but continued success. I have no doubt that in this new job, with the added responsibilities, you're going to shine like you always have. With that, I wanted to share a couple gifts. The first is Q's a big football fan, and so we thought we'd get him a jersey for one of his favorite teams.
Yep.
Is that the right time?
Yes, sir.
This better not be from the University of Miami.
There you go. Okay. You gotta throw it up before you leave, right? But no, seriously, in recognition of your service, we will expect you to wear that for the rest of the year, since you did lose to us this season for all the Gators on the dais. But we did get you a 12, and it's not for your favorite quarterback, Mr. Lee.
Go Gators.
It's actually for your 12 years of service. So Q.
Oh my God, that's so cute. 12 for 12.
There you go. Here, you want to sit here? We'll present it as well.
Commissioner Bonish, thank you very much
Yeah.
for that.
It's not a Chris Leak jersey. There you go. But but we also have a proclamation, which is the least we could do to honor you on this day and say, and I'll read the recitals, which you tend not to do because they're long, but you deserve every word in here. And it says, whereas the City of South Miami proudly recognizes individuals whose dedication, professionalism, and leadership have significantly enriched the lives of our residents and strengthened our community. That's very true in your service. And whereas Quentin Pugh, I always screw up his name, joined the City of South Miami on August 19, 2013 as Assistant Parks and Recreation Director, bringing with him extensive experience in parks management through his service with the City of Miami and the City of Miami Gardens. And whereas shortly after joining our team, Quentin's exceptional leadership, vision, and commitment to public service led to his appointment as Director of Parks and Recreation in September of 2014. And whereas in 2023, in recognition of the expanding scope and impact of the department, Quentin's title was formally updated as Director of Parks, Recreation, and Culture, reflecting his leadership in advancing not only recreational services, but also cultural programming for the community. And whereas throughout his tenure, Quentin has demonstrated unwavering dedication to enhancing recreational opportunities, improving parks facilities, expanding cultural initiatives, and ensuring high-quality service for residents of all ages. And finally, whereas for 12 years, Quentin has served the City of South Miami with integrity, professionalism, and a genuine passion for the community enrichment, leaving an enduring legacy that will benefit residents for years to come. And whereas he's announced his resignation effective December 12, 2025, making the conclusion of a distinguished chapter of service to the city and the beginning of new opportunities ahead. Now, therefore, I, Javier Fernandez, as mayor, along with my colleagues on the City Commission, Vice Mayor Brian Corey, Commissioners Lisa Bonich, Steve Calle, and Danny Rodriguez, proclaim the City of South Miami and our heartfelt appreciation for Quentin Poe, for Pugh, for his exemplary service, leadership, and commitment to our department, and wishes him continued success and fulfillment in all future endeavors, and declare this day in your honor. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Colleagues, why don't we go around the horn and say a few words before we come down and take a picture?
I am not surprised at all that you're moving on to bigger and better things. I will miss you. I think most of us, if not all of us, will. You carry yourself, I think people have big shoes to fill when they're going to take over your position. Your shoes will not be filled. Somebody else will have to figure out how they manage. And go Gators. We beat FSU. We're happy people today.
Go Gators. Thank you.
Thank you. This is very bittersweet. I've been on the commission here almost about half the time you've been here, and even before that, I think it's very clear the work you've done. You can see it in the parks, and probably the greatest parks transformation story in the past 20 years from any city. You have such great vision, such hard work, and you really left no park behind in the 12 years you were here. You push so hard for everything that you can do. Obviously, you got to work with these people up here, but you have done just such an incredible job. And when I got that notification that you were leaving, I was just like, It took me like a couple weeks, maybe. I'm still not completely over it, but you did such a great job. You got stolen. You're amazing, and I know you're going to do amazing work there. And again, it's going to be very hard to replace you, but I wish you absolutely the best of luck.
Thank you, Vice Mayor.
Yeah.
I told Q earlier when we got the announcement that he was leaving, I thought he was going off to referee college basketball. I was like, oh my God, we're gonna see him. But no, we've been working together for a year now. Right from the jump of me coming in a year ago, I immediately texting him about Tamiami and about all the things that I saw for parks and for kids and all that, and responded to every single one of them. You were professional. You came through with responses to everything. It is definitely a sad day that you're leaving, but congratulations to you. I know, like the mayor said, you're going to be closer to your family, and Fort Lauderdale is very lucky to have you, and you're leaving very big shoes to fill here. So, my friend, congratulations again.
Thank you, Commissioner.
I'll tell you guys a quick story about Q. So when he called me and he's like, Steve, well, I'm leaving. He's like, I heard. And I go, Q, be honest with me. Did we overwork you? Did we give you way too much? Because we're pretty ambitious up
A little
here.
aggressive, yeah.
We're a little aggressive up here. But Q, did we burn you out? He's like, nah, man. He's like, on the contrary, I love what you guys are doing. I love the work, and you guys kept me busy. I loved it. Thank you, guys. And I was like, that's who Q is. And I really appreciate that. And you're going to fly high, man. And I'm happy for you, and I love you, bud.
Thank you, Commissioner.
So I only have one request. Since he ran on getting rid of porta potties, we're inaugurating the bathroom next week. You got to come back for that event. That's my only condition on your separation from the city. So hopefully we'll see you. It'll be here? Excellent. Glad to hear that. So,
I'll see you all on December 11th, 4:30.
and we'll have some gift certificates to Chipotle for you for your journey up to Fort Lauderdale. So, Mr. Manager, did you want to add anything else or?
No, Mayor, thank you. I appreciate the time to recognize, somebody. It's always important how our organization, onboard somebody and how they thank somebody on the way out. I mean, we're going to be brutal to him to the very last minute. He knows that. But it's certainly gratifying to hear his colleagues, with the praise and comments and of support. And certainly, from my standpoint, I appreciate all the work and the diligence to make this city shine, and certainly, make this administration always striving for excellence. So I appreciate that, Q, and I look forward to going over and being a gadfly and speaking at Fort Lauderdale Commission meetings. And I'll sign up for remarks, and I'll have my 2 minutes of fame. And but I am eternally grateful for your work, and so appreciative. And I know that you're closer to home, and that's important too with a little one. You may be there longer than here, but you're closer too. So we talked a little bit about that. So On behalf of all the administration, and I said that before the employees, we thank you for your leadership and dedication, and certainly appreciative. And so I appreciate the commission taking time for this recognition.
Please. Mr. Director.
Thank you, Manager. Lucky for me, Fort Lauderdale's commission meetings are on the same night, the first and third Tuesday of each month, so you'll be occupied.
We'll cancel one just for you and take the Bright Line so we can avoid the traffic, so.
If I may, I would love to say a few words.
Please.
Definitely unexpected. This was not on the agenda. However, when you work for Parks and Rec, you always have to be ready. So I have a few
Oh, look at that.
talking points here that I would like to share. Thank you all so much. After 12 years of service, I want to express my deepest gratitude to the past and present city commissions. Thank you for your vision and your continuously supporting the growth of our parks and program. To our city manager, thank you for your leadership and unwavering support throughout my time here. To the community, thank you for embracing me, trusting me, and allowing me to serve you. It has been an honor. And last but certainly not least, to my incredible Parks and Recreation team, you are the heart of everything we have accomplished. Your dedication, passion, and resilience made every success possible, including me. Thank you all for the privilege of serving this city. I appreciate you all.
Thank you, sir. Okay, Madam Clerk, can you read the next presentation item, please?
Yes. Jolt in South Miami.
Great, thank you. I believe we have a presentation. Commissioner Rodriguez, this is your item, correct?
Yep.
If you want to lead us in?
Sure. So, a couple weeks ago, I had the privilege of meeting with Les and Will, who represents Jolt. I know that they had spoken with the manager previously, over a year ago, I think it was, to put their electric charging stations, but at the time it was for Sunset. And obviously, we know with the Proserbia and with the whole, redoing of Sunset Drive, that wasn't going to be possible. So we explored the option of possibly 3 options in South Miami of putting these charging stations. And I think the first one, which would be a great area to put it, would be right in front of the Avalon building. So it would be the last parking space to the east in front of the Fresh Market. And the reason for that is because that's set. That's the future of what our city is going to look like. And having electric charging stations in a place like that starts showing a model or representation of what the future of our city is going to look like. And what I liked about Jolt mainly is that it's not just, ChargePoint and some of these other companies. It's just a stand. Jolt provides with visual effects, which also provides the opportunity to advertise if, in conjunction with them, advertise events for the city. Also, in the case of any emergencies, they'd be able to advertise any procedures or anything that the city is requiring residents to do as a emergency response. So I just found that what they're offering, they would cover all the charges, is, you know, I think it works very well with the city. So Will, if he's online and can hear me, he would be showing this presentation right there. That's how it would look in front of Avalon. So Will, I'll let you take over. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead and unmute yourself. There we-
Hello, sorry, I was having some trouble unmuting. Yes, I appreciate it, Commissioner Rodriguez. Yeah, I believe we found some good locations that could provide benefit to the community with minimal sort of disruption or interruption with the revitalization that's going on in the downtown with Plus Serbia. So we've identified a handful of locations, a couple along Southwest 73rd, as you mentioned, right in front of Avalon, and then a few other potential locations that I think would be a perfect fit really for EV fast charging, supported by advertising. And so just as a sort of summary of what the offer generally is that we would be paying the city for the ability to be here. We would be giving the city a profit share of the charging revenue. We would pay for all of the installation, all of the electricity, all of the maintenance, and we would also give every user of these fast chargers a daily commute worth of energy for free per day. So we really think it's sort of mutually beneficial. I think it would be great for residents and for visitors. We think it would drive visitors to come visit South Miami and patronize some of the local businesses while their cars are charging and while they receive that free energy from us. And also enable people who have EVs but don't necessarily have a place to charge them at home to be able to charge them cost effectively. So with Commissioner Rodriguez's help, we found some really great locations, I think, and welcome any sort of feedback or questions on the proposal here.
Okay. Colleagues, where do you want to start? Who wants to go first? Anyone?
Go.
Sure.
Can we pop up the locations on there? Okay, I have more comments than anything else. I think this could be beneficial to the city. We'd have to see really, and I think we should run through the slides afterwards just so we can see how it looks in the different locations. But I wonder why nothing in front of the Lot B or in that area where there is so much movement? And has anyone considered the areas closer to where we're potentially looking at student housing? Because I will tell you, the reason my daughter's Tesla came back was because there was no fast charging anywhere near her in Nashville. So it's just something for us to think about. We also have to look at how we're gonna make this not a billboard in your face, because if we can move to one of the images, we need to see how we make them not so, I don't know the right word. I'm like, we're doing all this placemaking to make the downtown area seem more upscale, but then we're popping these like in places maybe where they aren't at their best. So I think we'd want to maybe talk a little bit more about some of those locations, with this one that we're looking at right now being my real main concern.
Okay. Vice Mayor, do you want to add something by way of clarification?
Yeah.
Okay, you're recognized.
So, Commissioner Bonich, the reason that you're only seeing some there is because we didn't want to just put, I mean, you could go up to 20 locations. You can do as many locations, so we just wanted to keep it very limited right now to just give the perspective of how it looks and show it to the commission. And then, I mean, if the commission's open to more locations, I'm sure that they're very open to it.
Or even just moving some of them from
Yeah,
one
these
place
aren't
to
set in
another.
stone. These are just preliminary locations that can, I imagine, you know, they'd be willing to relocate to, you know, based on the input that the commission gives.
Yes, yes, sir. Let me go down the line and we'll come back. Let me go down to the Vice Mayor, I'll come back to you next. Yes.
Yeah, besides what Commissioner Benich stated, I don't see any major downside. I do like the digital out-of-home advertising. I think it's a great new way for us to further monetize the downtown, as long as we do it in an aesthetically pleasing way. And then, of course, the EV charging is definitely welcome, and it's not like there's going to be less of those cars in the future. There'll likely be more. So, yeah.
Commissioner Kaya.
So we've had this presentation from Jolt before, when we've met many of times with Jolt. I'm a big fan of what we can do here. I think the direction that we had, was it last year sometime, or
Yep.
18 months ago? You know, it's okay, it's not, I think the idea here was that we gave a little direction to make sure you meet with Placerbia and the way that we're doing all the placemaking, to make sure we have spacing, we have visuals, we have a lot of the things that we just didn't know at the time. We're getting a little closer. But I didn't see that reflected in the maps, right? Whether we have one-ways, what parking spots that are available or not available. Those parking spots right there that we're seeing visually might not be there in the future. So those are the things that I wanted to make sure as I'm more of a planner. I like to plan and make sure that we're planning the whole sidewalks and streets. And we have a lot of we're investing a lot of money into our city in this particular area. I just want to see it incorporated with an idea, working with our teams and planning and design to make sure that it all works feasibly, right? I'm not a big fan of I'm sure you guys went around and looked around everywhere to see where it would be great. I think there's a little bit more science that needs to be applied to this situation and the way that we're going to do this. Electrically, how we're going to get electric to some of these places. I know you guys are going to take care of it. I just don't know feasibly that you can do that. So I would caution to take a step back before we take 2 steps forward and make sure we plan this correctly. I do like it. I like it a lot. I've always liked it. Les, you know why I like it. I just want to make sure it's put in the plan. That's all. So that's where I'll stay with that.
You may, yes.
Great comments, Commissioner Kaya. So these are just preliminary. Really, the ones that would be implemented in, I guess if you want to call it phase 1, would be in front of Avalon and along 73rd, because obviously we know Sunset Drive is going to change. We know Dorn is going to change, and all these other streets that are part of the Placerbia. And one of the things that we talked about with Les was absolutely having discussions with Placerbia, so this all works in conjunction with each other. So just wanted to let you know that was discussed.
May?
You may.
And I'm speaking to Jolt now, was there conversations with Placerbia that have happened yet? Because I know we spoke about this a long time ago. I wasn't sure if you guys actually had spoken, have an understanding of what's coming down the pipeline.
We reached out to them. We had no contact back from them, so we tried.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah, we had one preliminary discussion with them, but that was some time, and then kind of went a little bit quiet on their end.
And by the way, I don't expect Placerbia to say yes or no. That's not what they're there for. It's just Placerbia has an idea of what the plan is, what underground lighting that we just approved, infrastructure that's going to change. There's a lot of things underground that are going to change here. So I would just caution that we just do this correctly. Like I said, I'm a big fan of this. Just let's do it right.
So look, I think again, thanks to Les and the Jolt team for bringing this forward. I mean, we talked about this probably 18 plus months ago. I'm open to the concept. I think I heard the word proposal. I haven't seen terms written down, so it's hard for me to kind of evaluate whether this is something we should really consider going forward. If we're going to make, I think there are a lot of options. I haven't seen the integration of signage and charging. I think we should try to make charging more ubiquitous in the town, in the town center, because that's, I certainly drive an electric car. I think three of the 5 of us do as well. 4 of us. So certainly more opportunities to charge away from home is welcome from my perspective. I think it speaks to the future direction of the city, or future looking direction that we're trying to set for the city. I know when we talked, there is the ability to disaggregate the signage from the actual charging function. I think, we may be trying to stick a 10-pound bag, 10 pounds of stuff in a 5-pound bag, given the amount of right-of-way we have. And so maybe disaggregating those functions, because with some of these locations, just on a practical basis, as a user of the technology, it's hard to make it work for every type of car, right, that potentially could use a charging station. So we can look at disaggregating the charging from the signage, but I think that opens up the door to a whole lot of other conversations. But I think if we are serious about moving this forward, I certainly would want to see a hard proposal with not only locations vetted by Pluserbia, which I know is the conversation that I had initially with Les and I believe the manager. I don't recall, it's been a long time. And then see what the economics look like. I know we've heard references to it, but I certainly don't have any understanding of what those economics look like. And then we can sit down and really have a real discussion about whether this is certainly is an interesting idea, but whether it's really the right fit for what we're trying to get done in the district. I'll let you close.
So, so bringing this item for, as a discussion was obviously yes, to do exactly what we just did, and I guess the next step would be, do we give the manager the go-ahead to start meeting with Jolt and Les and start putting together and seeing what those proposals and everything would look like?
Yeah, I think it seems like they've done a good amount of work trying to figure out where this could fit. So my request would be for them to actually submit a proposal to us as to what the economic terms would look like. And then I think, my question and also direction to the city attorney is, I don't know if this is a sole source or how exactly we would go about procuring this, if it's a license. I mean, I'm not sure what the nature of the procurement would be. I'm not sure whether they've been contracted in another jurisdiction and we're piggybacking. What's the procurement mechanism that we could do this, or whether we'd have to go through some sort of a process to get to what is this result?
Mayor, it depends on the structure. At heart, this is a franchise. We are providing space in our right-of-way for a fee.
Okay.
But we could structure it as, if we are providing a service, then it becomes a vendee relationship, and that's they're providing a city service. So it's a structure question.
Yeah, I just want to understand how we get there with, if this is the provider we want to work with. I want to understand the actual economics.
Sure.
And then, my concern is we have lots of good ideas. Often they don't work, right? And that's just a fact of life. We're going to make mistakes as we do things here. But I want to also understand how we unwind the relationship if it's just not working. So that's a conversation I've had with most of our contracts up here, is how do you unwind them if it just goes the wrong way, right? And so these are costly. I'm assuming they're costly panels to deploy. Getting power to them, is not an easy thing. I just want to make sure that we understand, if we wanted to unwind the relationship, us or a successive commission, what our obligations and liabilities are if we do that as well. So those are kind of my initial thoughts, is what I would want more information about. Colleagues, anything else we want to give a way of direction?
One more thing, like I said,
And I'll recognize you if you wanted to say something.
I just want to make sure they do their homework and work with Pluserbia, and we'll establish the communication, the line there, so make sure that it's all feasible here. But infrastructure-wise is the only thing that I have a big concern with, and all that.
No, I agree, because these things typically, in my experience, have a power center in close proximity. So they're not, and that's not, and this is not the large part of the infrastructure. It's the power generation source. So, yeah.
So I guess we ask Joel to provide us a presentation, proposal, and we go from there.
And Les, if I can ask you to, again, my mind in this is, if we can disaggregate the function, for example, if we wanted to do, let's say 5 signs, right? But we didn't want them to have the power charging capability attached, but we wanted to deploy 10 Jolt chargers at the garage, for example, right? So we add more capacity in our public garage. Is that something that would be an opportunity you could help us shape?
We could look into something like that.
I don't know if that's something you wanted some optionality in disaggregating the function or not.
No, sorry, go ahead. I would, we're being very specific to the garage. I don't think the garage is the right place for Jolt just because of what they do. But the premise of what you're trying to say, I agree with. I think let's overall take a big picture and see what we can scale it correct. garage is not the right place for that
Okay. But you're saying that because you're saying they're married to the signage.
because of the signage.
Okay, but I'm saying, is there a world where, because again, the signage and the charging function live independent of each other? In my expectation, they can. I mean,
Well, we've already done a study when it comes to charging perspectives across the board for the garage, right? So we've looked at ChargePoint, we looked at Tesla, we have Tesla right now.
yeah,
So we've looked at FPL. I mean, we've done a lot of studies inside the garage on infrastructure-wise, how to get all that stuff there. So the director of finance has done a lot of work to that already. I think this would apply specifically on the surface parking lots and around, so it's be useful. Like, you know, one of the things that we spoke about when we first started doing the Pluserbia is having a little bit more of a smart edge to it. And this has the opportunity to do that, right? I don't know how smart it is because I haven't seen it. Last time we spoke, I don't even think it was, you guys had even launched yet, right? You only had a couple places where these were launched, right, Les? Do you remember?
Right, and now we're rolling out in the U.S. in New Jersey and South Florida.
Well, I guess that begs the question, where are you guys right now?
We're in a few places in New Jersey. I think Will can mention the specific jurisdictions there, and here we're in Sweetwater.
You're in Sweetwater already?
We're building on Sweetwater now.
Okay. How many units are you guys applying there?
I think it's 5 there as well.
5, okay.
and are these just digital billboards, for lack of a better way of describing them, or are they actually like a Nike panel that you see in Coral Gables where you have?
Yeah, they're not interactive.
They're not interactive. Okay. Okay, so they're static. Okay.
They're not
Thank you.
static. They do change.
No,
but
I mean
they,
static in terms of
yeah.
you don't. There's no. They're not touch.
Correct.
Okay. That's
Maybe,
great.
maybe we can take a field trip and see the ones in Sweetwater being installed or something like that.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay. Did you want to add anything? I'm sorry, we didn't give you a chance to say anything.
No, that's all. And then there is an optionality of a piggyback. That's the Sweetwater used that mechanism.
Thank you.
That we can look at.
Colleagues, further questions? Okay. Mr. Manager, anything else you need from us on this? Okay. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
So just closing it out, so do we want them to start putting together? a
I think we should see a formal proposal of some sort sent
Yes.
over, and then
Okay.
we can figure out if it's
Yeah, yeah.
piggyback, it's the piggyback. I mean, that's one easy way to evaluate it.
So, just wanted to confirm, the direction is, let's see a proposal and go from there.
Okay, no problem. Thank you. Madam Clerk, we've concluded presentations.
Then we have one more.
We do?
Yes, proposed ideas for Manor Lane Park.
Okay. Do you guys mind if I push that one off till after we get to some of the other business items? I know we got a bunch of people here for business items this evening. Can I get it?
You also have people here for the parks too, though. Just
We,
so you-
oh, I'm sorry. We do. I apologize. So we'll move right back to that. Let me just get the minutes out of the way, and we'll open up public remarks. And for those who want to speak on the park, what I'll do is I'll allow you to speak post the discussion so you can see the benefit of it and then have concurrent comment thereafter. Okay? Can I get a motion to approve the minutes of November 4th and November 18th,
No, just
2025?
Just November 4th.
November 4th,
Yes.
please. Is there a motion?
Move the motion.
Is there a second?
I'll
Mr.
second.
Bonich, thank you. Motion by Commissioner Guy, a second by Commissioner Bonich. All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay,
Thank you.
motion passes. Let's see here. Mr. Manager, can you give us your report, please? Madam Deputy, good evening.
Good evening. On December 8th, there'll be a food distribution event taking place at South Miami Children's Clinic. That's going to be from 12:15 to 1:15. Then on December 11th, as mentioned by our short-timer Parks Director, at 4:30, we have the ribbon cutting ceremony for South Miami Park restroom and concession building. Congratulations are once again in order for our finance team led by our CFO, Alfredo Riverol. The city's fiscal year 26 budget has been awarded the Distinguished Budget Presentation Award. That's the highest form of recognition.
How many years in a row is that now?
governmental- And we lost count.
Okay.
10 fingers, 10 toes, many years. The city created a residential and business resource guide. We have a marketing campaign that's coming out in January, and they're both available on our website right now. We have hard copies available in the manager's office. So this is the residential guide, the business guide. They both have all the information that anybody could want or need about our city. Our community affairs team is working closely with our business tax officer to make sure that any businesses that are coming in or inquiring have all the information that they need as well. We have lots of great holiday activations happening. For Santa's Parade kicks us off this Sunday, December 7th on Sunset Drive from US 1 to Red Road. We have pre-parade activities from 12 to 2 and the parade begins from 2 to 3. The holidays continue with our first ever Holiday Village We have the first weekend, December 13th and 14th, in the same location where we have second Saturdays. We're going to have vendors, a skating rink, photo opportunities with Santa. This is all free for anybody who comes to visit. And then the next weekend, December 20th and 21st, we'll have the same activation, but this is going to occur on Sunset Drive between 58th Court and 58th Ave. And both of those events are 4:30 to 9:30. And again, free. And thank you to Avalon Bay. They sponsored Santa Claus for our first weekend. Speaking of holidays and great decorations, I want to take a moment to acknowledge our amazing team in Public Works. They've taken a lot of time, a lot of hard work to make it look beautiful and lots of lights. So I want to call the guys up for recognition. We have our Assistant Director, John Reese, Mike Scipio, Laren Carter, Jordan Lee, Julio Valido, and Wayne Morton. Also, Sergio Moscoso and Miguel Vega and Carlos Hernandez, who couldn't make it tonight, but they've all worked really hard, so we wanted to take a moment to make sure that they were recognized.
Thank you, guys.
Mayor, Commissioners, I just want to, extra shout out, because, these things sometimes start at 3, 4 in the morning, and they're out there that early to get this done, safely and expediently. So we thank them for the extra effort in stepping up this year, more from what we did last year, right? And we appreciate you giving us the resources to do so.
No, I've gotten our compliments, so thank you. Thank you, guys, honestly.
Thank you,
Great
guys.
job.
Thank you.
It looks amazing, guys. Appreciate it.
That's the end of the report unless there are any questions.
Yes, you're recognized.
I did too, Mayor.
For the resident guide, it's a big folder. Do we have any way, or is someone tracking when houses are sold and stuff so that we can get this to the residents? Because if you don't know it exists, you don't know to ask for it.
Yeah, we're working on a mechanism internally to do that. Right now, what's going to happen in January is the marketing campaign. If anybody is incoming to the city, here's where to access it, here's where to pick it up. But on the residential side is definitely a little more difficult than on the business side. We left a packet with Avalon Bay, so when residents move in, that's one of the welcome things that they leave on their countertops. So we're working on
Is
the
there a way we can
resident
track, I mean, I know we're required to get, I think we're still required to get a burglar alarm permit? Is there a way to use that database as a mechanism for getting a packet? I would also just suggest, throwing out ideas here.
People still get that?
Well, you still get it. I get a bill every
side.
year,
Alarm
so.
registration, yeah.
Yeah, but the other thing is, I do know, I've been invited on a few occasions to meet with brokerages, for residential brokerages that are interested in marketing South Miami. I think it'd be great. There's a couple here in the town center to get them a cohort of packages, and it just as even if they're not a resident, but just as a marketing opportunity for us to kind of sell ourselves to prospective buyers, right, and get some more information out about all the good work that we're doing. So I would offer that as another suggestion as well. Any other ideas, sir?
No, I didn't.
Question?
Yeah, just a statement.
Statement.
I know did we speak about the director and his award again?
Yes, we did.
All right. Well, look, it goes to show the city what leadership we have here. We just talked about Director Pugh. I did it on purpose.
I know you did.
I did it on purpose.
You did it on purpose. Thank you.
Director Riverall, to do what you've done, I mean, look, it shows what the city and the leadership does, because being fiscally responsible is not a given. What we've done here, what you've done here for the city and the team is something special, because it shows honesty, it shows integrity, it shows respect. And those are the things that you don't see a lot of places nowadays. It's unfortunate, but it's the truth. And what I want people in the city to know is that we do have great leaders and great teams here in the city that are honest, that are what's the word for honest?
Have integrity.
Have integrity, and just being loyal to its citizens. So again, I know it's you win it all the time, but it's a big deal. I know it's a big deal to you, and it's a big deal for your team. So I just wanted to say thank you.
Commissioner, thank you for saying that too. Further comments, questions? Madam Manager, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. City Attorney, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. I have some updates to share, but there are actually 4 items on this agenda, so I will wait to speak when it's pertinent.
Anyone have any questions of the City Attorney? I have one request.
Please.
Our manager's contract is coming up, is expiring at the end of next month. He and I have discussed his renewal. I believe we may have solicited comments individually from commissioners about it. If I could ask you to consolidate those comments to the contract, and if we make sure we could have it on the next agenda in January so that we timely extend,
Sure,
unless there's some opposition on the part of the commission.
sure. Are these written comments?
These are, I believe, certainly mine were. I don't know if the others were verbal or not, but the manager can help you make those contacts, and certainly you can follow up individually with all the commissioners and solicit any other feedback that they may have.
Understood.
Okay, appreciate that. Thank you. Okay, with that, let's move to public remarks quickly. And again, I will, with respect to the Manor Lane item, I'll invite people to speak concurrent with that item. So public remarks on tonight's list, we've got Forrest Shaw. Good evening. You're recognized.
Thanks. I just wanted to come here and I wanted to bring up an issue that has affected me recently, and I've spoken to some of my neighbors and other people, and it's I don't know if anything can be done about it, but it's important. I think it's public urination, and I just want to know, like, why isn't it legal? Or better yet, why is it illegal? Because I've done it before. I've done it my whole life. And does that make me a criminal? But according to the city of South Miami, it does. According to the ticket, I got a $500 ticket for urinating in my yard. I was in my yard, and I'm not, again, I understand the exposure issues. Like, I don't think, like, if I always, like, tuck behind a tree or in a bush, something like that. But if $500 is, I don't know if this is the proper form to do this, but I don't know where else to talk about it. It's not something I do all the time, but I was in Miami Springs. There's a bar that I go there with some friends sometimes called Unfinished Business. I took an Uber home. I didn't have my keys. I went by a tree in my yard, my grass, my bushes, and then a cop saw me, give me a ticket, $500. Again, I think if you're exposing yourself, of course, I always make sure no one's flanking me, and then I just, but I don't know. I'm sure I don't know. I don't remember what the guy's name is.
Forrest,
right?
by the way, this is a first for me, and I think it's just a really bad luck on your part, because I don't think our guys are in people's backyards writing
front yard. It
$500.
was in my front yard.
It was
but
front,
behind-
oh, your front yard.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, well.
And I don't remember what the guy's name is that you guys were honoring. He got rid of the porta potties. I think that's great. I think they're ugly, and we should pee on trees. That's much better. Restore the aquifer. Every drop counts, I mean, that's what we were taught. But this is the time I have left,
love
a
local
minute?
government.
Okay. I just think that, other animals do it. If it's respectful, that's what I'm saying. I don't think we should expose ourselves. I'm not anti-woman. I just want to put that out there. I don't think women should do it because it's hard to cover up that way. So I just think men. But and it's a $500 ticket is a lot. We got tariffs, like the economies. I don't have a job right now, so I don't know if there's some way that we can like amend the laws, or I don't know. I can take questions or.
Any questions? Yes, you're recognized, sir.
Yeah, I would respectfully suggest that $500 was probably a easy way to get out of it, because there could have been some other charges, given that you're, in public and exposing yourself. So I would highly suggest that maybe going inside would be a better practice, because I think the outcome could have been a lot worse.
Yeah.
So I think you got off easy, I would say. And that's all
I don't do
have
it
to
all the
offer.
time. I just was that night, and then.
I understand, but there could be kids walking by, and so I think as an
tuck
adult,
into
you
most
could
of
have a
my
little
guys,
better
yeah.
judgment. I think $500 probably was a pretty good outcome, given what other charges could have been levied.
All right, well, is that it? That's my time. Thanks for listening.
No
Appreciate it.
problem.
All right, thanks.
Take care. Okay, Jason, I've got you on the list, but we'll hold you over for the item. Mr. Kelly, Levi Kelly, you're recognized. I thought we were going to be on a Billy Corbin Instagram reel with that. I thought it was.
What? When he said I repeat?
Mr. Kelly, bring us back to some.
That's a hard act to follow.
Yeah, it is.
Not at all, sir. You're raising the bar.
I wonder if there's a
Thank
pun intended. That's
Did somebody follow him? No, I'm kidding.
On a happier note, we're having our annual tree lighting ceremony on the 12th at the same location at the corner of 64th and 6th Avenue, across from the dollar store, and it starts at 6 o'clock. You're all invited. We'll have some kids caroling. We'll have some little bit of dancing, and we'll be even, I think the chief decided to give me 100 hot dogs. So we'll be doing some hot dogs. I'm putting them on the spot.
You know what, Levi, I'll happily take care of that, because I'm gonna have to apologize. I found out about the event after I'd already booked an anniversary trip with my wife, so I will not be there on Friday.
Okay.
But I'm happy to talk to you about some
We got
food.
you.
Okay?
Okay. But secondly, on a more serious note, I'm a little bit hardened to see Quentin leave. He's almost like a little brother to me. I go in and chat with him all the time, and he's a kid to me. He's so humble and so dedicated to do what's right for the community. And he don't know this, but the impact that he's had on some of the young black kids in the community is outstanding, because they see something that they can
Model,
reach
right.
for. And I wanted to make sure he know that. But I also want him to know that he has some good judgment in hiring a good assistant, and that John is a great guy. But secondly, he had some bad judgment too by bringing a Florida Gators jersey into the youth territory.
I saw you
So,
in the back. I saw you, mister.
So we'll have to talk about that. But he did threaten me that if I didn't give him some barbecue before I leave, that he might do bodily harm. So Chief, that might be a way to keep him here. Okay. But anyway, you guys.
Thank you, sir.
See you on the 12th.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, Mr. Rodriguez, Alvaro Rodriguez. Did you want to say something? Or you just want to wait for the item? Okay. I also have Ms. Garcia as well. You want to wait as well on the item? Okay. Let's see here. I can't read names today. Again, this is Manor Lane Park, so John, we'll wait with you as well. Let's see. Oh, counsel for the quasi-judicial items and his client, and, oh, you're not, my apologies, okay. Representative, my apologies. And then Ruth Wilson. No, Ruth already left, she was here before, okay. John, anyone else who's registered for public comment with you? Okay. Madam Clerk, is there anyone online?
Anyone on Zoom, please raise your virtual hand.
Seeing no one online, we'll close public remarks. Colleagues, let's move to the Manor Lane presentation so we can get some folks home. Oh, Quentin stepped out.
Already leaving?
Okay, while we're waiting, anyone have any questions on any of the CA items? No questions on the CA items? Madam Clerk, if you can read CA 1, 2, and 3, please.
Yes, item 1, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of South Bend, Florida, amending the City Commission meeting schedule to provide for only one commission meeting during the months of December 2025 and January 2026. Item 2, a resolution of the Mayor and City Commission of the City of South Bend, Florida, approving and authorizing the waiver of certain event-related fees and costs in amount not to exceed $6,522 pursuant to Section 15B-6 of the City Code for a special event known as the 2026 Ren Treffin Porsche Car Show presented by Patrol Bureaus LLC to be held Friday, January 16, 2026 through Sunday, January 18, 2026 at the Shops at Sunset Place and adjacent streets. Item 3, a resolution of the Mayor and City Commission of the City of South Bend, Florida, approving and authorizing the purchase of bulk fuel, including gasoline, diesel, and equipment from Sunshine Gasoline Distributors, Inc., utilizing the terms, conditions, and pricing of Miami-Dade County Contract Number ENV 001442 for the city's vehicle fleet in amount not to exceed $329,580 for fiscal year 2025-2026.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Commissioner Kai, you raised your hand. Did you have an item you wanted to discuss?
Yeah, let's pull item 2. I know we have the ownership, the representation from.
So we'll pull item 2. Anyone else, everyone else fine with CA 1 and 3? If so, can I get a motion on to adopt CA 1 and CA 3?
I'll move the motion, Mayor.
I'll second.
Okay, a motion by Commissioner Kai, again, and a second by Commissioner Bonich. Are you okay? I'm sorry to see that. Okay. We have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, if you can call the roll on CA 1 and 3.
Yes. Commissioner Bonish?
Yes.
Commissioner Rodriguez,
Yes.
Commissioner Kaye,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Corey,
Yes.
Mayor Fernandez.
Yes.
Items passed 5-0.
Madam Clerk, while we're here, can you read board item N1, please?
I'm sorry,
If you can read board item N1,
N1, oh, okay.
does not require any action, correct?
No action. Emmanuel Menendez II has been appointed by Mayor Fernandez to the Green Task Force as per city charter for a 2-year term ending December 2nd, 2027.
Mr. Kai, I'm going to hold off on CA2, and we'll just go to the presentation on Manor Lane.
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay.
Mr. Manager, I think we're ready now.
Thank you, Mayor. The commission, during the discussion of Manor Lane at a previous meeting, had asked the administration to come back to begin to have some ideation of how the Manor Lane property could be repurposed from a park standpoint after its acquisition. So we're going to present some ideas and options. This is just a first step to get some direction from you. Given that direction, then we can, obtain additional stakeholder feedback. So our Parks Director, what's his name, is going to.
Oh, the guy that's leaving us?
Yeah, is going to.
We're going to call him Lane the rest of the day. Director Lane? No.
Yeah. Going to present some ideas and options, and based on your feedback, we'll move on with some additional work.
Director Lane, you're recognized.
Thank you, Manager. Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners. Quentin Pugh, Director of Parks, Recreation, and Culture. Also joining me this evening is John Tyson, Assistant Director of Parks and Recreation. Staff has prepared 3 different concepts for your feedback and look forward to your direction following the presentation. A little bit about Manor Lane Park and the surrounding area. Along Manor Lane is single-family homes. Across from the proposed park is Southwest 66th Avenue, which is a professional business center. To the east side of the property is the underline in the Metro Rail. Across US 1 sits Fuchs Park, and the proposed property itself, Manor Lane Park, is roughly 0.40 acres or 17,500 square feet. There is a continuous sidewalk on the perimeter. There are a few tree species on the property, such as mango trees, a few poinciana trees. There are some undesirable species, such as the Schefflera or the umbrella tree and the Hong Kong orchid. There are several different palms from a sable and a royal palm standpoint, and there's somewhat of a landscape buffer along the property. So concept option number 1 balances modest revenue opportunities, some children play activities, and focuses on social gathering spaces. Along Southwest 66th Avenue, there's a stretch of parallel parking to improve access to the park. Within the park are some food trucks with adjacent picnic tables. And again, that's to promote some revenue opportunities at the site. The children's playground features a few nature play equipment components, and the focal point is a iconic Heron playground structure. There's also a proposed dog park at this site. As you all know, we have an existing city dog park, which is currently operating under an expired lease agreement. Staff is in discussions with the property owner regarding the city's dog park and its renewal, but this is a viable alternative option to the city actually owning its own dog park. Again, this concept option balances, again, modest revenue opportunities, children activities, and social gathering spaces. There is a sidewalk when the food trucks are not present. Obviously, that walkway can be used for pedestrians. It connects to Manor Lane as well as the underline.
Before we move on, colleagues, any questions, comments, thoughts on option 1 you want to share?
Do we wait, maybe you want to wait till we see all of them and then just talk all of them through, or do you want to take?
However you want
piece by
to handle
piece?
it. I was thinking we could go one by one, but I'm happy to reserve comment till the end. So let's go ahead and do that.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of the Commission. appreciate the opportunity to present this to you guys. So on slide 2, here we will be presenting our second option for the proposed Manor Lane project. At the focal point of this design is a kind of an elevated embankment slide that is on a hill, which will kind of showcase the elevation and also the visibility throughout the entire site of this park. Surrounding that embankment is a terraced lawn space, which is kind of layered and allows constituents and park patrons the opportunity to sit amongst there and view everything that's taking place in the park, but also to participate in additional leisure activities as well. To the right side of that, we have natural play water equipment, which will be composed of log and stone components. And above that, there's additional natural play equipment, which will hopefully encourage exploratory play for those that are visiting and participating in the things that are taking place at this park. On the bottom half of our design, parallel to Southwest 88th Street, there is an observation deck for small gatherings. And this is also another opportunity to kind of heighten that elevation and allow people to get a complete viewpoint of our park here. Additionally, I wanted to mention surrounding that concrete or that elevated pad is a rain pond, which is made of riprap, which helps with drainage throughout the entire park site in case there's water and preventing the erosion. But one of the neat features on this design is the concrete pad that loops this entire park, and it connects all of our amenities. And what I think brings value to this is how it complements the underline in supporting biking and walking and those types of features with what the intended design and purpose is for this design. I did think it was worth noting that in this design, the goal is to preserve as much vegetation as possible, and there will be some additional Florida natives planted along the buffer zone to add that greenery to this space. Option 3 introduces a splash pad component, which could potentially be a very desirable option. One of the reasons I believe this is this provides year-round water opportunities for our constituents. Currently at our aquatic center, we are only open half the year, but having this feature at this park would provide our constituents a chance to have water all year long. And in South Florida, I think that's something to note and something that could be potentially important. Another reason, along the underline, there are no other proposed sites that has these types of water features. So it would be something that would be unique to South Miami and unique to the underline itself. And the last thing I do want to note about this design is that out of all of our options, this is the option that preserves the most green space and the most natural green space that currently exists on this feature. But to kind of go into detail a little bit more, the splash pad is the central focal point of this, and there's a design up top that kind of showcases proposed of what it could potentially look like. But surrounding that area are shaded areas to sit. There's open lawn space. There is a gazebo for shaded seating. And there is a coral rock wall that is an accent to the main feature itself. So additional amenities, motion sensor lighting, picnic tables and benches, water fountain. There will be Florida native landscaping on this design, and along the perimeter, there is a fence for enhanced safety because there is a water feature here. That is all. Thank you very much.
Okay, comments, questions? Go ahead.
As much as I love the dog park idea, I don't think it's a particularly good one because you do have all of that traffic and the train noise. And so if you have the dogs, you run the risk of that train passing and the dogs freaking, and then you've got an issue that you don't want. I think the other two options, we know historically I am not a splash pad fan because of the expense that comes along with that, but it actually fits well here. So I like all of the options with the exception of the dog park. And simply for that reason, like I have dogs, but I'm not a dog park person. But if you are, I can't imagine that level of noise would be conducive to having multiple dogs in that space.
Let's go back and forth. So Commissioner Kyle, I'll give you next crack if you like.
Excuse me for
Me?
1 second. You guys, I'm going to have to go.
You okay?
Yeah, no, I must have touched something at dinner, and so I'm
That's-
getting it. It's starting to get in my throat.
Okay.
Okay.
Feel better. Commissioner Kaya, if you want to go next.
I mean, I like the more natural look and, you know, can you pull it back up, if you don't mind? Go back one, let me see which one it was. This one. All right, well, look, I like a place that people can hang out. I want it to be very natural, have a lot of tree coverage and canopy. Like we've been saying, we just want a lot of the canopy. I'm not necessarily, you know, if we have a playground, I know it's natural. We have a playground to the north at, what's the name of that park?
No, Bob Walsh.
Bob Welsh. We have a playground on the other side, so we have a lot of playgrounds in the area. I don't know, what do we do usually as a city, Mr. Manager, Mr. Director, about getting feedback from the community here? I know we've seen surveys. I know sometimes it goes the other way, right? Because there's too much back and forth. There's no consensus, so it becomes a little bit more problematic. Through all the lessons that you've gone here in your 12 years, what do you suggest getting some feedback from the community, getting consensus from the commission on how to move forward here? Because I don't really necessarily know which one. I mean, I have a preference versus another, but I don't live in that area. I would like to know what's a need for our city. This is not only for that particular community, it's for the city again, but like maybe some context
I
or.
want to piggyback on your comment, if I may. I don't mean to go out of turn, but I think what to me is missing, I think the concepts, some have merit, some, option one for me is non-starter, right? Just because it's not that I don't like the idea of the activations proposed, but I think it's just the wrong place. So I think the activation for a food truck would be better served at Fuchs, for example. We have the existing parking lot apron. We've got a building that's underutilized, and potentially there's a way to kind of bring some more energy and life to that park. I like the idea. I don't think the execution here would be appropriate, personally. But going back to the commissioner's broader point, which is we're going through this process of a master plan. And I was going back through the presentation that was handed out at the meeting I attended and seeing where we are over-resourced and under-resourced based on the analysis that we're doing. And one of the takeaways as I looked this last night is, you know, by the analysis that we're doing, they're saying we're over-resourced on playground apparatus, right? So I guess from my perspective, Mr. Director, how does it tie back to the overall plan that we're trying to evolve and update right now, these particular concepts? What elements of these options tie back to the needs that are being identified either by the professionals or as preferences being expressed by constituents who were surveyed?
So let me start with Commissioner Kaye, if I may. So what we've done for other park development projects such as Paseo Park, Bob Welsh Park, it started in the community first. This process was a little bit different where it started with how we're gonna fund the acquisition of this park. And there were some discussions with the commission up here about ideas, and then was thrown on parks to come up with the ideas. So what we've done in the past is just simply with Paseo, with Welsh Park, we started with door hangers with individuals who lived in that immediate community. We hosted meetings and things of that magnitude, did surveys, and got feedback from the community for those particular projects. With that information, then we came up with the design. Once we had that design, then it was basically a couple of meetings where we'll finalize that design. As far as the master plan, some of the things that it did mention was social gathering spaces that we sort of lacked. You know, those gathering spaces and things of that nature. Playgrounds was something on the low end. However, it did talk about some water features that we don't have. It did talk about, some sensory components that were lacking throughout our park system. So what we tried to do was complement the underline as much as possible in one of the plans, which is the one you're looking at now. In another plan, there was a member on the commission who talked about revenue opportunities and things. So we tried to fit that in the concept plan itself. So, yeah, I mean, we don't have nature playgrounds throughout our park system. This would be the one area where we could capitalize on that. And that's what we tried to, focus on, those sort of things.
Thank you.
So to finish off my comments on
sorry
that,
about that, yeah.
thanks, Director. I do agree. I mean, I like the natural play. It's something different out there. I think the kids in the community will enjoy it. I just don't know if the local, we have a couple different ones. So just how different it could be, not just the swing set and all that stuff. So I like the gathering portion of it where people can attend, meet, enjoy the nature that we have there with all the lush trees. So this to me would be my favorite of what's proposed, something in this magnitude. Whether we have a concrete driveway through, I think we did that because of, maybe food trucks or whatever the case may be with kids biking or whatnot, just to follow the underline there. We can figure that out, but if it was up to me, this would be kind of the best solution right now. But again, I would love, we don't do things in a vacuum here, so getting the feedback from the community, I think, is essential. So I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, I would agree with Commissioner Kaye. I do think that this is the best concept I could see. Obviously, I've actually, in New York City, they have one of those slides as well. It's extremely popular. I could see that happening here. I think shade cover would be really important for anything that we're doing. I know that can take away from the natural, and obviously we already do have the trees, but as a consideration, because then it basically doesn't get used for like 6 months. I love the idea of a water activation. The splash pad would be great, but the natural one, I like that option too. I think there should be some considerations for water fountains and water stations, just both because it's hot and because it's off the underline, and that could bring more people in and be a little bit more inviting. But I really, really like this concept, and I do like the play structures. I know I've got 3 small children, but I do think it's just a helpful thing, and especially if we can show, and I would love to do more natural play equipment throughout the city, and this would be a great place for us to showcase that and to advertise that to the rest of the county, that this is the type of activations that we build in our parks.
Mr. Rodriguez.
Can we go to the first slide, if you don't mind, please, to the first
Yes,
part?
sir.
So I was leaning towards this one at first. I mean, not necessarily for the food trucks. I mean, that doesn't have to be there. You could actually extend the green space where the benches are more and just make that a walkway. We don't have to have the food trucks. I am open to the idea that if we lose the other dog park, then we have absolutely no dog park in the city. So that's why I like this dog park. In relation to what Commissioner Bonich was saying, the noise of the Metro Rail, the other dog park is close enough that the noise, it's relatively maybe a little bit higher here than it is where the current dog park is. I think a lot of people in the neighborhood have a lot of, I think would appreciate that, because that lot, and we can always ask Jason, like, there's a lot of people who walk their dog in that right now, more or less. So this one to me, I like it for to try to, create the dog park if we lose the other one. If we don't lose the other one, then I kind of like the second model. But eventually, I think for me, what we should do here is kind of like what we did with the Proserbia options. Call one of those forums that you do here, put the poster boards up, and let the residents decide what they want or what they prefer in their neighborhood. Kind of,
Yeah.
Like we did at Marshall Williamson, that that we let them decide what they wanted. So I think we should do the same here.
Yeah, I'll be very brief. So I think each option's interesting. My only concern about any of the options was the food truck activation here because it's a congested area. We've got issues with the parking on the property to the west. And I think that there's a natural parking apron that exists just immediately south that we should just leverage as opposed to adding more concrete here. I mean, I like the element of a dog park because, again, for the reasons that Commissioner Rodriguez mentioned. However, I do think that in terms of the organization of any of the concepts, Concept 2 is the best organized. And I say that in part as a parent now with older kids. If my kids were younger, I'd prefer to have a play apparatus on the north end of that park as opposed to closer to that street corner. That's pretty, in the odd event that there's an accident there where it puts them in a point of possible conflict. I do like the passive water retention element on the south. I think that's an interesting element. But I would say even with that execution, we should really reduce the footprint of the concrete throughout and maybe go through some sort of a natural kind of a surface, whether it's dirt or, crushed shell or something else that's, more pervious than the concrete. The walking pad around the park, I don't know that we need it here, just because it's small and you're on a linear amenity. You're going to arrive to it, or you're going to walk from the neighborhood. So that's really going to be your natural walking path. But I do like the organization of the elements here, in terms of how they're laid out, how they're thought about. I would just want to soften it more in terms of the impact of concrete. But again, I think I agree. I think it's good to have these concepts. And I know that some neighbors are probably feeling this is a little bit predetermined. But I think if you show up with nothing, right, to a community conversation, it becomes really hard to distill, what people like and don't like. So I think giving them some options, something to react to is important. I think that's why you did this, just by way of preview to the residents that are here. And I would just say that I think from my mind, I just want to make sure we end this conversation as we think about these kind of opportunities. We're tying it back to what our needs assessment through this master plan is telling us, so that whether it's a dog park that we have one of and we're at the right level of service today, but we may lose. We find an opportunity. Maybe we work an option here to include it. But I want to tie back to that needs assessment, so that we're mindful of, trying to capitalize on the limited opportunities we're going to have to capture some public space for those kind of uses. So with that, I think, Mr. Manager, do we want to narrow this down to one or two options, or how do we want to, again, this is just to start a conversation, I think, so, or do we want to just kind of let everyone have all those options, and then I'll open it up the floor so we can hear from the residents who want to speak on this issue? Yeah.
If we have to choose, I would say we clearly like 1 and 2 the most. So my concern with option 3, I know the Vice Mayor was talking about it, but the splash pad, I think that opens doors for, God forbid you have any homeless in the area and all that, and, they start using that as a shower, and then, we don't want that either.
And I think just on that point, there's probably a better opportunity to think about the green space here that we're going to create with this campus. Should we do that to incorporate that as an adjunct to the children's activity zone, the library, and kind of make that another element for convening in this space? So I like the idea, but I think maybe in terms of an opportunity, it would kind of intensify the use of that park, because it might be too attractive. I think it might be more appropriate to think about that kind of an opportunity in this kind of central civic space that we want to create. So from my perspective, I would say let's put all 3 options out. Again, it's just a conversation starter, and then let's open it up. I know that Mr. Lopez and a few other folks are here. If you'd like to come forward, Jason, in whatever order you like, you're welcome to come up and speak.
Jason Lopez, 7730 Southwest 65th Place. I appreciate this as a conversation piece, but I think that these 3 designs are pretty far from what the neighborhood has expressed they want in that area. And I realize that this is a park for all of South Miami, but let's be realistic. The local neighbors are going to be the ones using it. I sent a message to the neighbors this morning. I said, I'm going to read your responses at the meeting tonight. Please give me a succinct answer. And I said, what should they turn the park at Manor Lane into. And in a summary, here's some different answers. Park for adolescents and adults. A natural park, passive green space, as green as possible. Green space, passive park, open space, native plants, space for the mangoes. Plants, benches, maybe some signs to interpret the mangoes. No concrete, a place to pick mangoes and to take a moment. I think it's pretty clear that there's really no desire for major activation of this space. We don't need a splash park. We don't need recessed or terraced places. We need native plants. We need open space. And we need a space to just kind of have a transition zone to the underline. It's a great opportunity to complement it, not to be a sore thumb to try and, hey, we're doing this. Let's complement a space that's going to benefit us all and make this a space that you pass through to get to and from the underline safely so that you avoid US 1, you avoid 80th Street, you avoid the rush hour hell zone that goes on there twice a day. And let's keep it simple. We don't need to invest in all this infrastructure and make it more expensive. We can plant small plants that don't need fertilizer, that don't need irrigation. We don't need to pour concrete. We can use permeable surfaces, and we can use smart choices, and we can keep this an open green space like it's been my entire life. It's been managed by private owners as a space available to the public forever. We don't need big plastic things there. We don't need concrete floors. Parking? What are we talking about here? Like, this is a simple space. We have All America Park as a great example. We have the one in her neighborhood. I can't remember the name right now. Van Smith. We have precedent for parks that are not overbuilt, and we have plenty of spaces for kids to play. I see moms get in their Teslas and drive to Bob Walsh Park to play in that playground all the time. They don't need to be doing that in this space. This is a wander in, wander out. Bike in, bike out. Walk in, walk out. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jason. John?
John Palenchar, 7641 Southwest 65th Place. First of all, Quentin, thank you. Thank you for all you've done for us. You know, we went through it at Bob Welsh Park, came up with, I think, a very workable, beautiful space that's well used by the community, and I know you've done wonders everywhere. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, I really think that this space should be a passive space. It should be a calm, native plant space, some benches. You know, I like the idea of a water fountain. I mean, there are people that are going to be on the underline that might need a nice place to sit down and take a break. It's not the calmest place in the world because, of course, we have our wonderful Metro Rail there. But some big boulders, a few tree trunks, I think will provide great recreation for kids if they want to climb and mess around there and get a little exercise. And don't need real playground equipment, even though I know you've got some ideas about some nature play stuff. Concrete is not needed. There's a lot of pervious surfaces that can be put in. Merry Christmas Park has a walking path that's made with EnviroBond, it's called, but it's a sandy surface, but it's wheelchair accessible, so we can do that. And I think some interpretive signs. Why don't we, some signage just to talk about our city, talk about maybe the mangoes and where they came from and the mango grove that was there. I mean, there's some things that we can do to educate people, talk about what a wonderful place this is. It's a small area, and we can really use it that way without going overboard. I know that this property has cost the city and us, the citizens, a pretty penny, and I think we can at least start simply, with vegetation, some benches, if a gazebo is considered something that might be needed as a gathering spot. But let's try to keep it simple. I think you know, and as time goes on, you can, you know, if you see a need that's not being met, maybe you can modify things, but rather than put in a big thing that we're kind of tied to, let's start small. If we're we were talking about a future-looking direction for the city, this might be something that people don't think about. Recreation is not only activity. It can be very passive. It's just sitting down, taking a break, and Jason said, you know, making your way to the underline, off the underline, through kind of a calm, natural area. So I really thank you for your time, and I hope these comments will be helpful to the future. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Anyone else on this item? Okay, then we'll go ahead and close public comment on the item. Colleagues, I guess the direction of the manager is let's take it to the street and have a couple community meetings and further conversation. And I think what I'm hearing is consistent with a lot of the feedback we've also gotten in the survey, which is we want to elevate more passive spaces in the city, and certainly this could be an opportunity for that as well. So further ideas? Are we fine just trying to do some more outreach?
No, definitely. Just, I would say, do outreach, see what it is. The one aspect that I do think is that this, and I hope you can appreciate this, this is an entrance to our city. So at minimum, maybe you do some sort of coral rock along the edges, you know, a sign, you know, saying it's a park. Not necessarily having, if they want to, if the residents want to keep the inside passive, or put, you know, a gathering structure, I'm fine with that. But at least something at the edges, that at the edge, you know, that you know signifies, you know, you're coming into South Miami, and you know, and give something kind of like across the street where we have that the
gateway,
the entrance on 80th Street, you know, that has the coral, maybe something like that we can do there. At least make it look nice, you know, to those you know, in front of the mangoes, and along the side with an opening to the underline. Just, that's what I suggest, that, you know, it is an entry point, so we should at least try to make it look nice a little bit for our city.
Okay, let's wrap that, because that can close. Thank you again for the presentation. Appreciate it. Thank you for coming. Let's go to, we've got some folks on items here. I've got the TSDD ordinance, we've got CA2, and we've got the two applications. So let's, and do we have anyone here from ASME, Mr. Manager? Okay, so
Mr. Brown, the union
let's do
president.
this. Let's take, if we could read our resolution 6, I believe, is that the first one? And resolution 7? I'm sorry, resolution 7, Madam Clerk.
Item 7, a resolution of the Mayor and City Commission of the City of South Miami, Florida, providing for ratification of the 3-year collective bargaining agreement from June 22nd, 2025 to June 21st, 2028 between the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, ASME Local 3294, for the bargaining unit defined in Public Employees Relations Commission Certification 12, and the City of South Miami, authorizing the city manager to execute the agreement.
Thank you. Mr. Manager, you want to give us a quick overview, and then we'll open up the public hearing?
Yeah, Mayor, this is a negotiated agreement with ASME and the city, and it's a 3-year collective bargaining agreement. It's a successor agreement to the one that's been in place. There are elements to the contract that are outlined in the memo as to the areas of changes. To note that there's been some changes in minimal changes in the way sick leave payout is paid, modest increase to safe driving award allocation that's given to some of the employees. There were some modifications from a retirement benefit standpoint that increases the multiplier and its stair steps over a 3-year period. There's also corresponding employee contributions that increase over that time to match the increased benefit. There were some other things having to do with the deferred retirement option program, the DROP program. that would provide for the employees to a certain time period to move the money out of the plan. So the memo gets into the details from a wage standpoint. Really retains the same formula that the city has had, which is a cost of living increase that is set when we evaluate the South Florida CPI. And that's really the same model that we've had. So certainly happy to answer any questions. As it relates to the pension and the retirements changes, there were actuarial fiscal analysis done and
I think
impacts.
we're talking about this item on first reading?
Correct. The other item implements the changes. Those are
Item
embedded
15.
in the
Correct.
CBA. So for purposes of having that language in the CBA, we conducted a different analysis, fiscal analysis, to identify exactly what would be the cost to the city over the long term. And so it's in this contract, and it's also germane to the
And again,
other
the
item.
actual, just to confirm, I understand the analysis from our actuary was that it's either cost neutral or positive for the city over the term?
Over a 10-year period, it's positive to the city as a result of the contribution, the employee contribution also increasing. So that analysis provided with the other item. Certainly, Mr. Brown is here, the president of the union. I know some other members are here. Certainly happy to answer any other questions the commission may have.
Colleagues, any questions? No? Mr. Brown, would you like to say anything? Mr. Brand, thank you for your service.
Good evening. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Assistant Mayor, Commissioners, City Manager, Deputy City Manager, Directors, as well as the audience. I stand before you today as the president of Local 3294, Randy Brown, real name Randolph, but you guys, my kickball teammates call me Randy. That's right, Randy.
Meanest pitcher in town, by the way.
And I must say to you guys that the ratification vote was a unanimous vote, with union members as well as CBA members. And in the city of South Miami, as we take a giant step into the future, as a united front, to get a unanimous vote, we're united. And, that's not easy. And I've negotiated 4 contracts here in this city, 4 contracts. And I've dealt with several city managers here in this city. And your negotiation team that you put before me this time, hands down, was probably, I call them the A-team. And they really professional group of people. And that comes from a mutual respect from management to union. And this is how we were able to establish what we established. And it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. And the city manager managed to pull a diamond out of the rough by the name of Wendy. Hard negotiator, very smart. She brings it to the table. Large amount of respect for her. But this contract that we managed to negotiate on, and you got to understand what was happening within this city. 12 years ago within this city, you had city employees that went 8 years without a raise in this city. Then it began, the commissioners and, we began to transform and we began to get new commissioners and new mayors, and then we began to see a transformation within the city workers. Because what initially was happening is we had people who worked in this city for 24 years up and just leave. And I'm telling you, we lost some good people. So we had to come up with a way where we can lure people back in the city. in working with this city manager, he really, 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 really put it on the table to try to lure people into this city. So when we decided, you know, and I use this as an example, in order for me, myself, to retire here in this city, I have to be 67 years old. 67 years old to retire here in this city. The way they had it set up was I couldn't even go into the drop until I was 67 years old. And I think I said this to the city manager, you know. So what do? 67, I go in the drop for 5 years. I'm 70-something years old. I don't think I'm gonna spend any of that drop money. You know, so we began to negotiate. So we managed to come up with some great things. Lowering the retirement age to 60, where members contribute. And over the long run, with your finance guy, Alfredo over there, managed to help the city where it's gonna be a profit in 10 years for the city. So it's a win-win for everybody. So now when we are lowering people into the city, we say, hey, we have a drop program, we got retirement at the age of 60, we got payback, sick payback, 200 hours. Now South Miami becomes what? People want to come here. People want to come here. The last contract we negotiated in this city, asked me put our contract in front of over 5 million different members throughout this country, using our contract as an example. There's nowhere in the United States where a city gave its employees almost an 18% pay increase. Nowhere. This city did it. This city did it. And it is the relationship that management and the union has had that we're able to do that. So I'm gonna ask something of each and every one of you here today. When you vote on this contract, anything other than a unanimous decision would not show a unified front here for the city's employees. You say you care for us. You say you like what we do. Show us. Show us. Because we're going to go to bat for you out there. We're going to go to bat for you because we know that we're the gateway to the city. These residents, they speak to us before they speak to you. They come to us. They ask us, how's the city treating you? Well, Commissioner Colley, he won't leave me alone. You know, so if you love us, if you care for us, I'm looking for a unanimous vote from you guys. I want the city, I want the residents, I want the employees to know that there's a unified front here in this city. Thank you. Thank you, City Manager. You know, it's a pleasure negotiating with you guys. This guy's smart, boy, all the way to the director. I mean, you guys really, really, I was speaking to Commissioner Colley earlier outside. I have never ran into a group of smarter people in my years of negotiating. You guys brought it to the table, and I'm telling you, they represent the city well. They represent the city well. And in having these people in those positions, our city, because I played here in this city at the age of 5 years old, and that area was a library. I watched this city grow. I'm happy to be a member here in this city, and I want to retire in this city. And when I speak of this city, I want to speak of love, and I want to speak of united. I want to speak of family. City of pleasant living. Let's make it pleasant for everybody. Thank you. And I hope you guys vote unanimously, please.
Thank you, Randy.
Any questions or anything?
I think we're good.
Hey, thank you.
With that, we'll open up a public hearing for members of the public, since this is a public hearing item.
Okay.
If any member of the public would like to speak on item 7, which is the ratification of our collective bargaining agreement with AFSCME, Local 3294, please come forward at this time. If there's anybody online who'd like to address this commission on item 7, please do so now. Seeing no one in the chamber and no one online, we'll close the public hearing. Is there a motion on item 7?
I'll move the motion.
Motion to adopt?
Adopt.
Is there a second?
I'm scared to say no. I'll second it, Mayor.
My son will be mad at me if I vote against anything Randy says, so.
Right.
We have a motion by Commissioner Rodriguez, a second by Commissioner Cali. Madam Clerk, if you could call the roll, please.
Commissioner Rodriguez,
Yes.
Commissioner Kaye,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Corey,
Yes.
Mayor Fernandez.
Yes.
Item passes 4-0.
Madam Clerk, if you can read item 15, which is the pension item.
Item 15. Item 15, an ordinance of the Mayor and City Commission of the City of South Bend, Florida, amending Chapter 16 Pensions, Article 2, City Pension Plan by amending Section 16-14 Pension Benefits and Retirement Date, by amending Section 16-19 Contributions, by amending Section 16-21 Purchase of Credited Service, by amending Section 16-28 Deferred Retirement Option Plan Drop, in order to effectuate the pension-related provision of the collective bargaining agreement between the city and the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, AFSCME Local 3294, for the bargaining unit defined in Public Employees Relations Commission Certification 12.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. And again, colleagues, the manager explained this item basically memorializes the modifications that are set forth in the contract. Any questions? Okay. Seeing none, colleagues, is there a motion to adopt item 15?
You want to move it again, Danny?
You go this.
I'll move it.
I'll second it.
You have a motion by Commissioner Kaye and a second by Commissioner Rodriguez. Madam Clerk, if you can call the roll, please.
Yes, Commissioner Kaye,
Yes.
Commissioner Rodriguez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Corey,
Yes.
Mayor Fernandez.
Yes.
Item passes 4-0.
Okay, let's move to our first of a few quasi-judicial items. If we can move to items, I lose my checklist here. Items 9 and 10, please. Madam Clerk, if we can read both items, and then we'll get the warning by the city attorney.
Yes. Item 9, a resolution of the Mayor and City Commissioner of the City of South Bend, Florida, approving or denying an application for variance pursuant to Section 20-5.9 of the Land Development Code, seeking a reduction of lot size frontage on lots 1 and 2 of a proposed plat for a property located at 6240 Southwest 65th Avenue within a low-density, single-family residential RS3 zoning district. Item 10, a resolution of the Mayor and City Commission of the City of South Bend, Florida, approving or denying an application for a tentative plat pursuant to Section 20-4.2 of the Land Development Code, seeking subdivide a property located at 6240 Southwest 65th Avenue within the low-density, single-family residential RS3 zoning district.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Mr. City Attorney, I believe item 10 is a quasi-judicial item? Or is it
Yes,
9?
item 9 and 10
9 and 10, if you
are
could
both
read this.
quasi-judicial. Yes,
Thank
thank you, Mayor. These two companion items are intended to enable development of 3 single-family homes on a property. Specifically, the requests are for a variance of lot area, more particularly the frontage requirement, and for a tentative plat for subdividing a previously unsubdivided parcel into 3 lots. Both items are quasi-judicial, requiring a public hearing. For efficiency, the same public hearing can serve for both requests. The clerk has read the title of the resolution. The public hearing will include presentation by staff and the applicant and any public comment. Commission may ask any questions either before or after public comment is closed. Following public comment, the commission may deliberate on the 2 items. The quasi-judicial procedures require this commission to consider the evidence presented to it and base your decision on the applicable law and primarily on the evidence presented, whether by the applicant, staff, or members of the public. In considering each item, the commission should apply the criteria, which for variances is in Section 20-5.9 of the Land Development Code, and for the tentative plat is in Section 20-4.2 of the Land Development Code, as well as a professional analysis and the staff recommendation and any comment you receive. The evidence that you consider must be substantial competent evidence. That's testimony or other evidence based on personal observation or relevant expert testimony that a reasonable mind would accept as adequate to support a conclusion. It is not a popularity contest. It cannot be based solely on non-expert opinions, no matter how fervent those opinions might be. Anyone who wishes to speak on an item should be given an opportunity to speak during the public comment portion. If you intend to provide testimony, you should be sworn in before your testimony is taken. Please know if you do speak, you may be subject to cross-examination. If you refuse there to be cross-examined or to be sworn, your testimony will be considered in that context and given its due weight. The general public will not be permitted to cross-examine witnesses, but the public may request the commission to direct questions on their behalf to either staff or the applicant. At this time, anyone who wishes to speak on this item should be sworn in. I'd ask that you please stand and raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you. Madam Clerk, can you confirm compliance with the advertising notice requirements?
Yes.
Okay, and then the last order, Mayor, Commissioners, have any of you had any ex parte communications?
Let's go down the line.
Yeah.
Mr. Vice Mayor?
No.
I spoke with Mr. Geary in my office probably 3 weeks ago, I believe.
Yeah, I spoke to Mr. Gary a couple weeks ago.
Same.
Okay, regarding the
Regarding the
proposal.
application, yes.
Yeah.
Great, okay. Thank you.
Great. Colleagues, there is a presentation in the record. Mr. Mark is available to us. Would anyone like a full presentation from staff, or have you reviewed the record?
I've reviewed it.
You reviewed the record?
Yes.
All good? Any questions as well? Okay. Do we need to hear from the applicant as well?
I'm good, Mayor.
Okay. I only have one question. Were there any registered objections by anyone, any neighbors to the request?
Not that we know of, and I don't believe anyone,
Madam Clerk, have you received any correspondence from any objecting neighbors? Okay. Sir, yes.
So in response to your question now, this is in my neighborhood.
Yes.
So I drive by this lot on a daily basis. Currently, there is a home, but it's this lot, this area is, I mean.
Not familiar with it, yeah.
As close to abandoned as you can probably have it. It's overgrown trees. There's trash in front of it. There's piles on the trash pickup constantly. So I think this would be a great addition to the neighborhood.
Okay, so no objections. We're clear on the record. Any offense to us not hearing from you? Perfect. Colleagues, Mr. Rodriguez, we've heard your thoughts. Any other thoughts you want to share? Colleagues? None?
No, I'm good.
Mayor,
Yes, sir.
it is a public hearing.
I'm going to open the public hearing
Thank
now. So, okay, both items, I believe, sorry, I know that, yes, both items are public hearing items. If there's any member of the public who'd like to address this commission regarding items 9, which is a variance, and item 10, which is the approval of a tentative plat to effectuate the subdivision, please come forward at this time. Seeing no one in the chamber, is there anyone in the online who'd like to address this commission on either item? Seeing no one online, we will close the public hearing. Colleagues, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve. I did express to Mr. Geary my preference, and I'm not sure if we could make this a condition to the approval, which would be for the easternmost home to actually be oriented towards the avenue, so that it would follow the development pattern of the rest of the north to south avenue. So essentially, that home would mirror the condition, and then you obviously would have the lateral street. I don't know if the applicant has any objection to that, or happy to hear if they have a concern about that request.
My name is Jerry Aguirre. I forgot my address. 6220 Southwest 65th Avenue. Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, thank you for your time. Thank you for meeting with me previously. To your point of directing the front towards 65th Avenue, my only concern there is we have that side setback there that I think I'll defer to Mark. I did receive some commentary that it shouldn't be that way, but that's my only comment.
Okay. Again, my preference, if you can accommodate
Yeah.
it without requiring any sort of other relief, I think it'd just be great to have the subdivision kind of mimic the natural pattern for the rest of the avenue, and obviously the rest of the homes there. A good friend owned the lot next door. Commissioner Guy and I occasionally play poker with him, so I'm familiar with the condition of the lot. It's been that way for a very long time, so we're happy. I'm personally happy to see you invest and upgrade the quality of it. So I'll withdraw my request for the condition, okay?
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, is there a motion to approve?
I'll move it.
Is there a second?
Second.
A motion by Commissioner Kaya, a second by Commissioner Rodriguez. Madam Clerk, if you can call the roll on item 9, please.
Yeah.
Commissioner Kaye,
Yes.
Commissioner Rodriguez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Corey,
Yes.
Mayor Fernandez.
Yes.
Item passes 4-0.
Commissioner Kaidi, do you want to move item 10 again?
Move item 10.
Oh, second.
I have a motion again by Commissioner Kaye, a second by Commissioner Rodriguez. Madam Clerk, again, if you can call the roll on item 10.
Yes, Commissioner Kaye,
Yes.
Commissioner Rodriguez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Corey,
Yes.
Mayor Fernandez.
Yes.
Item passes 4-0.
Commissioner Kaye, do you want to go back to CA2?
Yes, please.
Okay. Madam Clerk, if you can read CA2 for the record one more time so we know what we're talking about, and then we will.
Thank you.
Thank
Have a
you.
wonderful holiday
You
and
too.
Christmas, and a special thank to your staff. They have been amazing.
Thank you. Merry Christmas, and get to work, please. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, item 2, a resolution of the Mayor and City Commission of the City of South Bend, Florida, approving and authorizing the waiver of certain event-related fees and costs in amount not to exceed $6,522 pursuant to Section 15B-6 of the City Code for a special event known as the 2026 Daz Ran Treffin Porsche Car Show, presented by Patrol Bureaus LLC, to be held Friday, January 16, 2026 through Sunday, January 18, 2026 at the shops at Sunset Place and adjacent streets.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Commissioner Kaye, you asked for this item to be pulled for discussion, so we'll recognize you for any comments.
Thanks, Mayor. I just want the city to appreciate what this event has brought to the city. I went to it last year. I attended it. It was a huge success. I don't remember what the number was, but it was a lot. Mr. Alvarez, you can tell me what the number was, but what I wanted to know was, I thought it was a great event. I'm sure it was successful. What lessons learned did you learn from last year to this year? What is it that different you're applying? Just so you can tell us, tell the public, tell our community what they should expect.
Good evening, City Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commission, and City Council. My name is Alvaro Rodriguez. I am a business owner now in the city of South Miami.
Very nice shop, by the way.
Thank you. And very proud to continue to host DRT in South Miami. One of the things that we continue to learn and appreciate is how we need to continue to push the standards of expectation of the event that we host here. And I say it's a learning appreciation because there's car shows all over the world. There's car shows every weekend in town. And to not only maintain but attract the quality that we bring to the event and sort of try to manage is very challenging, especially because from day one, we have always made this event an all-inclusive event. We've never gated it. We've never charged a sole admission. Yet we've catered to everyone, right? So it's very challenging. So what I've learned is the challenges of continue to grow while maintaining a standard and raising that standard. I think having the access to the facility at Sunset Place has given us a platform to create an event that could host longer term events instead of doing something for a Saturday or Sunday. Now we're activating during the week. We're also bringing the event indoors, which will create future challenges because obviously we're not going to have that forever. But I think what it's done is appreciate the opportunity to bring something great to South Miami, where it started. The demographic doesn't disappoint. The city doesn't disappoint. And again, we continue to push harder. I think the ongoing challenge for the last 12 years has been planning and prepping for the event. We tried to continue to do more sooner on a yearly basis, try to forecast a little bit more what our needs are. And I think considering what's happening with some of the other events happening in town, obviously everyone knows what's happening with MODA in Coral Gables with RM Sotheby's at the Biltmore, and the event in the Miami Design District. I think we've created a platform and a destination to do something great. So that's what I've learned, that we need to continue to raise the bar, and we can't do it without your support.
I also understand that we have kind of made it smaller in some of the extended streets that some of the, was it 58th Court, we've minimized that now, right?
I
Trying to make
think-
it a little bit more cozy?
Yes, I think the idea is to consolidate our efforts in a tighter floor plan, so we could, cater and create a better environment. I think in the past, not having the facility of the mall gave us the opportunity to pop in and pop out. Yeah, that always compromised the setting, it compromised the display. So one of the things that we learned is, or we're shooting for, is reducing the floor plan to distress the amount of effort we put in the city, while hopefully having a better setting for the attendees.
Okay.
We're also creating environments within the space of Sunset Place that we could somehow capitalize a return, because again, everything that happens in the city is open to everybody. And it's not something that I have absolutely any interest in changing, so.
Thank you, Mayor, I appreciate
No
it.
problem. Any further questions, colleagues? Comments? No? Okay. Is there a motion on item 2?
I'll move the motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, if you can call the roll on item 2, please.
Yes, Commissioner Kaye?
Yes.
Commissioner Rodriguez?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Corey?
Yes.
Mayor Fernandez?
Yes.
Item passes 4-0.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Okay, if we can take item 5, please.
Thank you,
Item-
Gwen, we're gonna miss you.
Item 5, a resolution of the Mayor and City Commission of the City of South Miami, Florida, amending the schedule of fees and fines, building division schedule to update fees in connection with construction, including plans, review, administration, and inspections, establishing the building special revenue fund to ensure compliance with section 553.80 Florida statutes.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Ms. Cabrera, I know Mr. Duyos is here as well. Colleagues, before we recognize the director, do we have any questions of either Ms. Cabrera or Mr. Duyos about item 5? No? Okay, I know we had, yes, sir, you want to add something for the record?
There's a revision that we want to put on the record.
Please.
To the
Yeah.
document, so I'll let the director put that on
Madam
the
Director,
record.
good evening, you're recognized.
Yeah.
Good evening. Soraya Carrera, Development Services Director. So we put in the latest that you have that we updated today, the discount when you use a private provider. And we gave a discount if they use plan review and inspections, or if they only go with inspections, it's 2 different percentages. That was the only substantive change in
Just for the record, what are the revised percentages now?
It's 40% if you do both, 25% if you do inspections only.
Okay, thank you. Colleagues, any questions, concerns? Yes, you're recognized.
Mayor, comment. This past couple of weeks, a constituent called me. They had a problem. She has an elderly husband, and they have a wheelchair ramp. And all she wanted to do was put an awning on top of her house, so when they take them out on the wheelchair, it doesn't rain on them. She pulled a permit, came to the city, like she should. It should go through, DRB because it's an outdoor thing. And her charge for a $1,000 awning was $2,500 through our permit fees, just because of the way the system is. So I want to applaud Director Cabrera on going through this process and really fixing this problem that we've had. Small things like that, just people don't pay attention, but it matters, right?
Big time,
To
yeah.
her, it matters a lot, so much that she called me, and I'm glad that we took care of it because it was already part of the plan. So I just wanted to emphasize, little things like this make a big difference to our community.
Thank you for saying that. And just to that point, Madam Cabrera, for the public's benefit and ours, where does that discount put us in comparison to other cities?
So most cities, like Dade County, City of Miami, will give about a third, 33% discount if you have a private provider.
Okay, so it puts us a little bit further
Yeah,
ahead.
I mean, the statute requires that you give a discount,
Mhm.
and it should be reflective of what the savings is to the building department. So if they're doing plan review and inspections, our role really becomes more of a QA/QC of the provider process, and of course, the administrative. So it's about I think we're being very fair. I think in the past, we gave like 35 or something for other projects, so.
Thank you. Mr.
Yeah,
Manager,
I
anything
I
further?
certainly want to thank Mr. Duios for, helping the city through this analysis and bringing it to this point as well.
Thank you, George. We appreciate you. Okay. Colleagues, anyone like to move to adopt item 5?
I'll move the motion, Mayor.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Kaya, a second by Vice Mayor Corey. Madam Clerk, if you can call the roll on item 5, please.
Yes, Commissioner Rodriguez?
Yes.
Commissioner Kaye?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Corey?
Yes.
Mayor Fernandez?
Yes.
Item passes 4-0.
Great. Let's move on. If we can take up item 12, which I believe is the TSDD ordinance. And then my intention is to take up item 14, unless anybody else has something else they want to hear next.
No, that's good.
Okay. Madam Clerk, if you read item 12, please.
Item 12, an ordinance of the Mayor and City Commission of the City of South Miami, Florida, amending sections 20-8.2, 20-8.3, 20-8.4, and 20-8.8 of the Article 8 Transit Supported Development District of the Land Development Code to revise regulations relating to student housing.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Mr. City Attorney, we'll recognize you to walk us through the modifications
Thank
between
you.
first and second reading.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, this is second reading. So what Ms. Simo passed to all of you is a substitute item. The item in your agendas has some changes. These were some last-minute changes that are highlighted in yellow in your connection. There's also one handwritten note on lines, basically 133 and 137, a footnote that we are adding to a chart there, providing for student housing to be permitted on the mezzanine level. So first, the changes from first reading. The first change on line 14 has to do with the off-campus student apartments. It previously said solely, that was replaced by primarily. The idea being that they're all, from a fair housing perspective, although we've got student housing is clearly the target market, to narrow it to only be that is problematic on several levels, especially for lenders. So we've tried to accommodate that. If we fast forward to lines 6, at the end of the chart on line 65, which is actually on the next page from where the chart begins. This is just clarifying. So I believe it was Commissioner Kaye who had raised the concern about spacing, specifically requiring a minimum distance from the Metro Rail station. We played with that a little bit. This is the part highlighted in gray at just above line 66. Instead of doing a distance limitation, just to avoid any confusion, we say it's got to be on, it's in Toda, which is going to be immediately abutting the Metro Rail station property, and it's got to abut 59th Place or Southwest 70th Street. So it's basically across the street from the Metro Rail station, accomplishing the same thing without necessarily a distance dimension. The highlighted on that page is just clarifying. There was, I guess there was a upon further review, we saw that it could be interpreted a couple of different ways. So we tried to very much clarify that off-campus student apartments are a standalone use in TSNA, and then specifically only on certain properties when they're across from university property. I will keep going.
So, Rusty, if I can ask you
Yes,
just
sir.
a question regarding
Yes.
specific example. I know at one point we did have an inquiry regarding our interest in disposing of the inspection site.
Yes.
I think one of the parties was a student housing developer.
Yes.
Again, this language would allow for us to contemplate a disposition with that use in mind.
It would
correct?
allow for that,
Okay.
yes,
Wonderful.
that's correct. That's correct. It does not require it, but it would
It's not
allow it.
required, no, I just,
Correct.
again, I just want an option.
Oh, for the inspection site.
Site, yes.
Oh.
There was an inquiry from a prospective party that was looking at using our property in conjunction with one of
Right,
the
it
others.
would have to have frontage on either of the streets
That's,
next to the
again,
me-
just want to
metro
confirm that that was,
So that would then, right?
yes, that's
Yes.
why I was just confirming, so that we know that we have that option.
Yeah. So, okay, another change, if we go to lines 90, 91, 92, it's the same change in kind of the catch-all area. It's for specifically those properties that abut 59th Place or Southwest 70th Street. You'll see on line 88 highlighted, it's the same change as before. We just wanted to make it consistent. And then down at line 106 through 109, we are providing that the operational conditions, including any conditions, which I'll talk about in a moment, that have to do with parking, transit coordination, and any other matters, have to be spelled out in the covenant enforceable by the city within the development agreement, okay? If we keep going, the chart just above line 117, we've done two things there. We have increased the minimum area per bedroom to 150. It was 100 previously. That was based on comments that we got at first reading. And we clarified that the area of the bedroom, what we're calling the bedroom, is all of the private space, any private space. So if it's a one-bedroom unit, it's going to be everything in, from the hallway in. So you don't have to worry about a specific bedroom being larger. But if it's multiple bedrooms off of a common area, if they put the bathroom in there and the closet in there, all of that's counting. That's all the private space, okay? We eliminated the bedroom density because if you recall on first reading, there was some concern raised about the residential density in TSNA being much lower than what is permitted in TODA, but yet we were providing for a 400 bedrooms per acre limitation for both. What we tried to do, just a little more fair and just direct it a little bit better, and it is actually kind of pinching it. What we basically said is we're going to keep the same density of the units per acre, but consider bedrooms at a 3.5 multiplier. So each unit will count as 3.5 bedrooms, and that way we do justice to the difference in density. The change in line 136, this is just clarifying the TSNA is supposed to be entirely residential, so not permitting residential on the first floor would render that space unusable for that site. They are permitted up to 20% of that ground floor area to be like a coffee shop or something like that in those. And then the handwritten change that you see there is just that first story mezzanine where it says not permitted. That's residential uses are not permitted in the TODA. In the first story mezzanine, we're exempting off-campus student apartments from that restriction. The concept behind that is the first story mezzanine can be used to block and shield parking to buffer it. So it just makes sense to have a habitable use in that space. I'll keep going. We left the parking requirement. This is at the bottom of the following page, line 154, all the way at the bottom. We left that at 0.5 spaces per bedroom, but what we provided for in the TODA only, so remember, these are going to be sites that are directly across the street from the Metro Rail station. We provided the possibility of reducing that requirement by up to 50% through City Commission approval in connection with their regular large-scale development approval. But you guys would have to find that the development has accepted operational conditions that address carpooling, shuttle services, micromobility sharing, transit ridership, or other solutions to enable students to access the university without the use of a personal vehicle. You'd have to be satisfied that they've done that, and they've provided for some operational scenario. And then...
And again, just to clarify, we have discretion to reduce it by up to 50%.
By up to 50%. Okay. You're not required to reduce it at all, but you have the discretion.
Okay.
What?
Yeah.
We'll go down to a quarter per bedroom. That's
Right.
correct.
Right.
That's right.
Yes.
So,
Rodriguez.
yeah, sorry. So, in the last meeting, it was brought up, for a 4-bedroom unit, it was 1 parking space.
Under this scenario, it would be two.
It would be
two
2.
Two parking spaces,
So-
correct.
Okay, so
four
then
bed-
we are okay, so.
Correct.
Right.
We
Unless
moved it
we
up.
approve it to go down.
Huh?
Unless the commission approves it to go down.
Unless it, on a individual basis.
Right, and that's only in the
Great.
TODA,
Okay, because
right
last
across
time
the
we
street from
were
Metro Rail.
2 to
Correct.
0.5 and 2 at 2/3.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's how we kind of split
Split the-
it.
Okay,
That's right.
I'm good with that.
Okay. Okay, last couple of changes. Line 178 through 180 is not actually a change. It was, Mr. Noto had alerted me that a previous ordinance's provision had not made it into this, so we added it back in, okay? And then the last thing is on 192, the stacked parking spaces. This is just clarifying that student housing can use lifts. So those are the changes from first reading and the latest round in this.
Colleagues, any questions? Mr. Kaye?
No,
First to the gun.
I think that you addressed all the concerns that we have. I think this is well done.
I have one, one question. This still, the maximum bedroom per unit is what? Anything that the developer wants?
What do you mean by that?
We does not currently have a limitation on the maximum number of beds.
Yes, it could be a 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom, 5-bedroom.
Well, remember, because
6-bedroom.
I think the difference is you're now being governed by the density times the multiplier.
Correct.
Right.
So there's a cap, and if they want to allocate it, those bedrooms to a 5-plex or a 4-plex or a triplex or whatever they call the units, they can allocate the bedrooms in whatever fashion
Yeah,
they
yeah.
like.
That's what, that's what we had spoken about. I thought,
Correct.
okay.
Yep.
Okay, further questions? Okay. This is a public hearing item, so any member of the public who'd like to address the commission on item 12, please come forward at this time. Is there anyone in the audience? Anyone online?
Shocking.
Okay, seeing no one in the audience and no one online, we will close the public hearing. Colleagues, is there a motion to adopt item 12 as presented?
As presented, yes, Mayor. I'll move it.
Is there a second? So a motion by Commissioner Kaye, a second by Vice Mayor Corey. Madam Clerk, if you can call the roll, please.
Yes, Commissioner Kaye,
Yes.
Commissioner Rodriguez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Corey,
Yes.
Mayor Fernandez.
Yes.
Item passes 4-0.
Thank you. Congratulations to everyone. Okay, moving on, if we can read item 14, please.
Item 14, an ordinance of the Mayor and City Commission of the City of South Orange, Florida, approving and authorizing a franchise and comprehensive agreement with Somi Padel Center LLC pursuant to Section 255.065 Florida statutes for a Padel Center on the rooftop of the City of South Miami Municipal Parking Garage, providing for required statutory findings and authorizations prior to execution of the comprehensive agreement.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Mr. City Attorney, Mr. Manager, would you want to walk us through any changes between the last time we considered this item?
Yeah, Mayor, I think the substantive change and I'll let the city attorney just add to what I would say. I would note for you 2 things. One, that there's a provision for cancellation for convenience, but it would be at the 4-year mark, and then it would provide for a 12 months notice. So technically, we would be in receipt of the garage in the 5th year, but at least we would have certainty of when that would come back to us. And then out years between 5 and 10, that there was a notice provision as well for convenience, cancellation for convenience, and currently is drafted as a 180-day notice between years 5 and 10. I don't know if there's any other substantive matters that we need to put on the record. I mean, I think there were some miscellaneous
I
things.
think
but
the revenue item was addressed before, so in terms of the base or,
15% of gross.
Okay. colleagues, any other questions you wanted to ask about?
I have a question, Mayor.
Yes, sir, you recognize.
What is the process to recover or look at the books? What does that process look like on cost recovery or revenue sharing?
I think the question is, what are our audit rights to make sure that we're getting
Oh, thank you.
what is the
Audit rights.
appropriate amount of revenue? Uh-oh.
I stumped them.
Where's the, can we play some Jeopardy music in the background, please?
It's in there.
The
Short answer is we have audit rights. Right online, looking for the provision.
Okay, but are they required to provide affirmative reporting within a certain period after the close of the first contract year? What,
Monthly reporting. They have a monthly reporting requirement. They have and they have an annual reporting requirement.
and when are they required to true up or not? Meaning, they're paying us the monthly minimum, right?
If we find a discrepancy,
No, no.
Oh.
I'm saying there's a discrepancy here. Are they paying us the delta every month? So let's say
Yes.
April, we get a report for April closes, we get a report 30 days, not later than 30 days after April closes. If our share is greater than $18,000, they pay us at the end of the following month? Or are they paying us at the end of that calendar year?
no, at the end of the following month. It's intended to be a month.
Okay, so it's a rolling,
Yes.
it's a rolling true up?
Yes.
Okay, that's even better, so. Understood. No, it's fine. It's a rolling true up. I'd rather hold their money. The sooner we can get their money, the better, so.
Why don't you run up to the podium next time?
Yeah,
exactly.
I was asking who he
He's
was.
just screaming from the audience, I'm
We-
having
we-
flashbacks.
We've had some other
Having
strange comments.
flashbacks to the good old days here, so.
Too many awards to get up.
Yes, no, he's.
We've had some other strange comments today,
He's
so-
weighted down by all his laurels, yeah. Okay.
I do have one concern,
Yes,
if
sir.
I may.
You're recognized, sir.
I brought this up before, and my only concern, I think the project's great, I think everything is great. To be fair to our restaurants in the building and in the area, I would like to see something as far as like limiting the capabilities of liquor sales or, small food and beverage, I don't mind with the shakes, like, small things like that, but let's keep, liquor to our restaurants who are, we're working together here, so.
So there is an alcohol service provision that allows them to serve alcohol. Would you like to get rid of that?
What provision, what's contemplated provision? Is it beer, wine, and champagne, or is it a full bar?
It is alcoholic beverages. We didn't specify. We could limit it to beer and wine.
So I think, Mr. Garcia
Jeffrey
has an
Garcia.
opinion, yes.
Yeah, when there is a beer and wine provision, and we haven't fully settled on that. What I did mention to the manager, I think it was last week, was that we were thinking, the possibility of beer and wine. Somebody has a glass of champagne or a glass of wine or beer, after playing. But it's not something that we had, firmly locked into. We are cognizant of what you mentioned. You brought it up to me before. Commissioner Bonich brought it up as well. And to that extent, I've personally met a few times with Bougainvillas and others to partner up and do things together and utilize their catering license to do events up on the rooftop if and when we get to that. So we're cognizant of that and trying to be good partners.
Okay.
So if we, again, I don't remember my alcoholic beverage licensing law very well. Does the 2COP cover beer, wine, and champagne?
I believe that's the 2
Yes.
COP for beer and wine.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so I think the commissioner's
limit to
intent is to not go to the 4 COP category, if you're fine with that.
Absolutely. We're
So
fine with
let's
that.
keep it
I'm good
to
with
a
that.
2
Yeah.
copper, its equivalent.
You got it.
Yeah.
Depending on what, let's be a little bit
Yeah.
less prescriptive, just because I don't remember if it's a 2 COP, I don't know if they're qualified for 2 COP per se.
Limited to
Beer and wine.
Beer, wine,
and champagne.
Yeah, correct. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, fair enough.
There's also a $200,000 difference between those
Yeah.
licenses,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
we're going to tap our brakes right there.
All right.
Okay. Any further questions or comments? Thank you for the comment. Okay. This is a public hearing item. Thank you for coming up. Is any member of the public who'd like to address this commission on item 14, which is again the authorization of a franchise and comprehensive agreement for the SoMe Paddle Center LLC to utilize our garage rooftop for a paddle center? Please come forward at this time. Seeing no one in the chamber. Is there anyone online, Madam Clerk? Seeing no one. Renato, hello. We will close the public hearing. Okay, colleagues, with the modification proposed by Commissioner Rodriguez, is there a motion to approve
I'll move the motion with the
with the modification?
modification.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Rodriguez and a second by Commissioner Corey as modified with the alcohol restriction. I just want to acknowledge that I did receive the forward of an Instagram post extolling the virtues of this arrangement and complimenting us for what I think is going to be a very lucrative deal. So I'm looking forward to receipts at the level that this one, I forget the name of the person who posted a blog, but follows Paddle apparently
Yeah, I saw it.
very intensely on Instagram. So hopefully this all works out as we all hope. So with that, we have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, if you can call the roll, please.
Yes, Commissioner Rodriguez?
Yes.
Commissioner Kaye?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Corey?
Yes.
Mayor Fernandez?
Yes.
Item passes 4-0.
You got 60 days.
Get to work.
Get to work.
I'd just take a moment to, we approached the city with this about 14, 15 months ago, and I just wanted to thank everybody, both elected and the public servants, and I know everybody's singing Quentin's praises tonight, but he actually, while the manager was instrumental in this, obviously, Quentin held my hand through this process, and a lot of time was spent on that, and I wanted to thank him. I know that's the appropriate thing to do today, is to sing his praises. But I wanted to thank the manager, the attorney, and all of the electeds for bearing with me over this process.
We
look
love holding
forward
your
to it.
hand, Jeff. It's
Thank
all
you.
good. Take care.
Non-compete with Fort Lauderdale, by the way.
Thank you, guys. Okay. Colleagues, I don't think we have anybody else in the chamber on any item. Did I miss anybody? So do you want to go back to regular order? What's your preference? Renato, congratulations. He's still online, but
What is he here for?
he's here for the paddle facility. Okay. Anything we want to take out of order? Just the attorney, I have one question on tonight's agenda. I may be dense, but are items 13 and 17 identical? At least the header reads.
No. One is the second reading, technically, of the Truist Bank proposal,
Okay.
and the other one is the Regions Bank proposal. on
Okay,
first
so we
reading.
have to make a decision about which proposal we want to move forward with?
Correct.
Okay, so colleagues, just to dispense with that, is there, I believe the manager and Mr. Riverall have,
Hold on.
yes, sir.
Sorry. Don't we have to withdraw first
you've-
and then
you've-
go with
Yes,
the reading?
proposed for withdrawal, right?
No, we
And then
can,
decide if we're
Yeah,
going?
so the manager's recommendation is that the Truist item be withdrawn. That's the memo that you have.
Okay.
As part of the item, and that you go with Regions Bank. We just
Okay.
had to do them separate because we had originally
can I
noticed.
ask a question, just to give ourselves maximum optionality? I don't think there's any procedural defect in having two competing ordinances adopted on first reading.
We could do that, but Truist was already adopted on first.
I understand, so
Oh, okay.
I would move to defer the Truist item.
Okay,
Okay, because maybe they wake up tomorrow and they want to offer us better terms. Between now and the time we consider the Regions Bank proposal. So I would just say, let's leave it, my thought is, let's just leave that one pregnant for a while and let them think about it. Maybe they do want to give us equivalent or slightly better terms. You know, wishful thinking, probably my part. But rather than withdraw it and not have the option, I'd rather leave it and defer it. Any objection?
Look at you being optimistic.
I know, I'm an optimist. My wife doesn't believe it when I say it, but that's okay.
Master negotiator.
No, ask her nothing. By the way, as evidenced by M1 on tonight's agenda. So, so I have a motion to defer, I believe it's item 13. So
Yeah.
I'll move to defer item 13. Is there a second?
to January 20th?
To January 20th.
Seconded.
Okay. Madam Clerk, without objection, show item 13 deferred to January 20th. Can you read, while we're on it, let's just read item 17.
Item 17, an ordinance of the Mayor and City Commission of the City of South Miami, Florida, authorizing the issuance of general obligation note of the City of South Miami, Florida, not to exceed $6,700,000 for the purpose of financing the cost of culvert improvements, bridge repairs over the Twin Lake Canal, and the acquisition of land for park development, and paying costs of issuance of the note, providing for a supplemental resolution setting forth the details of said note, approving the selection of Regions Capital Advantage, Inc. to purchase the note, and providing a line of credit in connection therewith, authorizing the city manager and city officials to negotiate with with Regions Capital Advantage, Inc. for
Thank
the
you, Madam.
purpose of the note.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Somehow, the way you read that made it seem really exciting to me at that moment, so thank you for that. Colleagues, do we need a presentation from Mr. Riverall on this item? It seems like we're all pretty up to date on it. Mr. Riverall, you may want to call Truist and say, they give you one more shot, so I don't know. Is there a motion, item 17?
Tell them to watch this. I'll move it.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Kaye, a second by Vice Mayor Corey. Madam Clerk, if you can call the roll on item 17.
Yes, Commissioner Kaye?
Yes.
Commissioner Rodriguez?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Corey?
Yes.
Mayor Fernandez?
Yes.
Item passes 4-0.
Thank you. Okay, let's go back to, let's just take item 11, please.
Item 11. An ordinance of the Mayor and City Commission of the City of South Bend, Florida, selecting and awarding a franchise agreement to Amaya Catering and Events, Inc. for concessionaire operation and management services at Palmer Park and South Miami Park for a 5-year term pursuant to requests for proposals, RFP number PR 2025-14, authorizing the city manager to negotiate and enter into the franchise agreement.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Colleagues, any questions on item 11?
No.
No, I do, just want to, because I was not here, I think, the last meeting when it was considered on first reading. Just to confirm, I mean, this is a minimum guaranteed payment, correct, that we have? Do we have reporting requirements, again, firmly built into this contract? We did not, I believe, under the last agreement. I think we just had audit rights. So if there's one modification, and I apologize for bringing it at the last minute, if we could incorporate it here on second reading, would be to have at least them report revenues.
For what purpose, Mayor? Just-
Again, I just want to understand, I want to window into what the revenue actually is, as opposed to having to go in and look at the books. Getting a report from them to say, hey, our gross revenue is $2,000. That way, we may, if this becomes a very lucrative, it becomes a very lucrative concession, I don't know that it will, but we'll have a window into it over time, and we can, I believe we have termination for convenience rights in this agreement as well. We can choose to relet it with real information about what the gross revenues are. So, again, I'm fine with, I don't want to rework the agreement, but that's the one item I would like to see us.
Through the mayor?
Yes, sir, you recognize.
Mr. Attorney, is that something that we would need, or maybe procurement, we would need their approval for that as part of this? I mean, I'm just asking.
So we have under the agreement as drafted, we have access to them. We do not have, there is no periodic reporting requirement.
No, I understand, and
yeah.
so I think that if I remember the agreement of the prior provider who responded to the solicitation, it was structured the exact same way, okay? My problem with that is it requires us to do work to go get the documents, and I would rather just have them say, even if it's just annually, give me a gross revenue report on the concession. And I'm not trying to make it, I don't think this is going to be the world's biggest concession, but it would just get good to get a window into what their gross revenues are so that we know, and maybe in year 2 we say, hey, this thing actually blew up. Should we consider putting it out sooner or not renew? Okay.
Okay, monthly, quarterly,
Annually, I think it's fine. I don't, again, it's just, this is not a big revenue source for us, but I just do want that window in affirmatively without having to chase the documents. Okay? Yeah.
The only thing I'm fine with that. One of the things that I mean, as business owners, if they're doing good, I think it would kind of be harsh to just all of a sudden tell them like, hey, we're gonna go and put this back out there, or
Well, no, I mean,
terminate their contract under convenience because they're making money or because they're doing high revenue.
I think what it does is allows us to have a conversation about renegotiating the terms. And I think our duty is to make sure we're getting fair value out of the asset, and it's intended with no disrespect. I mean, I asked this question of the manager or the city attorney, I can't remember who, I apologize if I'm mischaracterizing the conversation anyway, but before, and my first inclination was let's look at the prior vendor's performance, but given that they weren't being awarded the contract, I mean, it seemed like, punitive, disrespectful to ask them for what their performance was historically, to make sure that we were marking this to market. And my marking to market is, what's the gross revenue picture look like? And I think the only window in, without us having to actually go in and do the work of auditing, which is consuming and costly, is for them to send us a revenue report with today's revenue reporting models. It's literally just press a button, here's the gross number for this period of time. What we decide to do with it, how we decide to treat them after the fact, we can have a conversation about what's fair or not. but I want the optionality personally.
Mayor?
Yes, sir.
You're pretty well versed with the Boys and Girls Club.
Mhm.
Do you know if that is outsourced as well, or is that something internal?
I think it's, I think it's run by the charity, but I don't want to,
You don't know?
I don't want to put my hand on the Bible and swear to that. Yeah. Okay. So with the modification, I'll move the item. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Okay, further comments, questions? Okay, Madam Clerk, if you can call the roll, please.
Yes, Commissioner Rodriguez.
I'm sorry, hold on a second.
Oh, it's a public hearing, yes.
It's a public hearing, I apologize. So, if there's any member of the public who'd like to address this commission on item 11, which is the award of a franchise agreement to Maya's Catering Events for concession operations at various city parks, or specifically Palmer Park and South Miami Park, for a 5-year term, please come forward at this time. Seeing no one in the audience and no one online, we will close the public hearing. Madam Clerk, if you could now call the roll, please.
Yes, Commissioner Rodriguez.
Yes.
Commissioner Kaye.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Corey.
Yes.
Mayor Fernandez.
Yes.
Item passes 4-0.
Thank you very much. Thank you, colleagues, for supporting the modification. Let's take item 16, which is the first reading for the Arts and Public Places Ordinance.
Item 16, an ordinance of the Mayor and City Commission of the City of South Miami, Florida, amending Chapter 7 Building, Section 7-17, Art and Public Places of the Code of Ordinances to modify the Art and Public Places Program procedures.
Thank you. Mr. City Attorney, you
Sure.
want to give us a quick overview? I'm assuming
Sure.
we're just addressing the visible from the issue of access and visibility?
That's how it started.
Oh, okay.
That's how it started, but we opened the hood, and that's
Oh,
always
gosh.
problematic.
Here we
No, we just wanted to clarify a few things regarding the committee and how it's set up. and
I love that at this point you've been practicing how long now? I don't want to date you, but after all this time, you still believe that as lawyers we can clarify things further.
We can
Anyhow,
try. We can give it our best efforts.
It's a constant endeavor.
So, okay, there were so we did clarify the visibility aspect. Okay, let's start with what the initial task was. The idea is that it has to be a public space. We patterned it after, I believe, the Coral Gables ordinance to provide for that. So it's a publicly accessible space. The other thing that we did was just clarify in terms of both process and how the committee functions. We wanted to avoid them being, because it is a committee comprised of not necessarily appointments, but persons nominated by those institutions, and they could be switched, right? To pass muster under the Sunshine Law, we had to kind of adjust things a little bit. So we basically moved the actual authority for approval to the city manager based on their recommendation. That's our
workaround. Okay.
Exactly. So that's what you see here. A lot of this strike through is just aimed at getting to that, and that's how we approached it.
So,
and there's one.
Yes, sir.
Well, go ahead and ask, and I'll
No,
answer.
continue, finish this.
Okay, just the last thing. If for some reason they don't have 3 members, because let's say this commission is allowed to appoint 3 members, so that you have a minimum of 3 at any one time.
Okay, and do we have qualifications specified as to?
We do. Members appointed by the city commission shall possess a high degree of competence in art history, architecture, sculpture, painting, artistic.
As evidenced by what?
What's that?
As evidenced by what?
You'll have to be the judge of that. That's what it'll be. We don't- don't
I'm
put it on the spot.
really uncomfortable with that language.
Okay.
So, I mean, on first reading, I'm fine with it, but I think one of the neatest things I've observed is actually these group of people work together.
Mhm.
And this level of sophistication, I really would invite the public to watch the critique of, just the critique of the public space, which, by the way, was by 2 very good designers at Avalon,
Mhm.
was pretty extraordinary. I witnessed it with the manager, and I think Commissioner Bonich joined us online for that meeting as well. But it was the level of commentary, the sophistication, the way that it was delivered, which is very difficult in that process, was at a level that I honestly never would have imagined we'd see at the city. And so I'm concerned, I'm going to put on my Josh Liebman hat here, that we may invite somebody who has a passing dalliance in art,
Mhm.
and unless you specify that they've actually been in the industry, you know, in curating art or producing art, right, and demonstrate a track record, I'm a little uncomfortable putting on there.
So just to clarify,
Yeah.
that would only come into play, the commission's role in appointing?
If we have a vacant, if we do not have three.
No, if out of the 5 that we identify, the 5 institutions?
Yeah.
If we don't have 3 people.
Okay.
So if
So
you.
those are like ex officio members then?
No, if those 5, let's say the 5 institutions say, or 3 of the 5 institutions say, we don't want to participate in this anymore, we're done.
Okay.
Okay, now you're down to 2 that you've got, you guys would appoint a 3rd.
Okay,
That's a
understood. Okay.
That's where it triggers.
Notwithstanding, it's.
Understood. I can.
I think we've had meetings thus far, we've only had 2 organizations participate.
Yeah.
And there have been issues there. So I think it's probably likely at some point this commission will have to appoint someone or a successor body. So again, we'd just like to kind of flesh out the credentialing a bit
Okay.
further, right?
You got it.
Yep. Okay, colleagues, any further comments on the ordinance? Again, on the sunshine issue, the problem was that they were potentially alternating between appointments within the institution. And those folks would be talking, they'd
Cor-
serve in one meeting and not the
Correct.
next.
It's really the institution that is.
Correct.
That sends a representative, and they could send us a different representative. And that occurred at one of these meetings.
Okay, understood. Thank you for that clarification. Okay. Anything you want to share with us, or no? Nope. Okay, that's fine. Okay, colleagues, any further comments? This is not a public hearing item, so is there a motion to adopt item 16?
I'll move it.
Is there a
Second.
Okay, Madam Clerk, we have a motion by Commissioner Kaya, a second by Vice Mayor Corey. If you can call the roll, please, on item 16.
Yes, Commissioner Kaye,
Yes.
Commissioner Rodriguez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Corey,
Yes.
Mayor Fernandez.
Yes.
Item passes 4-0.
Thank you. Okay, moving on, what do we have left? Madam Clerk, we've got the discussion items, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Anything else I may have missed?
We have item 4.
Item 4, can you read item 4, please?
Item 4, a resolution of the Mayor and City Commission of the City of South Bend, Florida, approving and authorizing the purchase of 2026 Ford F-150 police responder vehicles from Duval Ford LLC pursuant to a Brayford County Sheriff's Office contract number BCS 022-27-1.0 in amount of $103,523.08 to emergency equipment and installation services from Strohs R. Us LLC pursuant to Broward County Sheriff's Office contract number 23004AP in amount of $31,302.30. 3 decals and installation services from Doral Digital Reprographics Corp. Pursuant to City of Doral contract number 2023-09 in the amount of $1,541.64, and for 1 grappler police bumper system and installation service from Stock Enterprises Inc. LLC in the amount of $9,104.08 for a total expenditure amount of $445,471.10.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Chief, my apologies, I left all your items to the end here. Sorry about that, not intentional. Colleagues, any questions regarding item 4 on tonight's agenda? Is there a motion to adopt?
I move the item.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion by Vice Mayor Corey and a second by Commissioner Kaye. Madam Clerk, if you can call the roll on item 4, please.
Yes, Commissioner Kaye,
Yes.
Commissioner Rodriguez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Corey,
Yes.
Mayor Fernandez.
Yes.
Item passes 4-0.
If you can read item 6, please, Madam Clerk.
Item 6, a resolution of the Mayor and City Commission of the City of South Bend, Florida, approving and authorizing the lease of mobile data terminal equipment with docking stations from PCN Strategies, Inc. for the Police Department pursuant to Omnia Partners Contract R250307 in amount of $148,421.67 for 36 months, with annual payments of $49,473.89.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Colleagues, any questions regarding item 6?
No.
Okay, seeing no questions, this is a public hearing item. Is there any member of the public who would like to address this commission item 6, which is the authorization of the purchase of some docking stations from PCN Strategies for our police department? Please come forward at this time. Seeing no one in the chamber and no one online, we will close the public hearing. Colleagues, is there a motion on item 6?
I'll move the motion.
Okay, we have a motion to adopt by Commissioner Kai. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
A second by Commissioner Rodriguez. Madam Clerk, if you can call the roll, please.
Yes, Commissioner Rodriguez,
Yes.
Commissioner Kaye,
Yes.
Commissioner, Vice Mayor Corey,
Yes.
Mayor Fernandez.
Yes.
Item passes 4-0.
If you can read item 8, please.
Item 8, a resolution of the Mayor and City Commission of the City of South Miami, Florida, authorizing the city manager to execute a 3-year agreement with Benchmark Analytics LLC for the South Miami Police Department's personal management, internal affairs, field training, performance evaluation, and early intervention software at a total cost of $39,000, with the option to renew for 2 additional 1-year terms, providing for, that's it.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Colleagues, any questions regarding item 8, please?
Mayor, I just have a comment.
Yes, please, you're recognized.
Chief City Manager, I think you guys are doing a really good job of bringing this police station, police force to the modern day. And I applaud that. I really do. As we move forward, though, I think that we also have an opportunity to start thinking about the future. AI, a lot of system and software integration. That used to be my bread and butter back in the days of system integration. We have 2 different programs. Moving forward, as you start working with KPIs and kind of bringing this digitized and all that stuff, I want us to really start thinking about bringing a lot of this stuff collectively AI-driven, a lot more technology-focused, and figure out how much better we can do. I don't believe we don't have the resources for it, but figuring out how to using technology to better enhance the police force is always something that's great. I don't know what we're doing as in trade shows, white papers. Like we don't really have. I don't believe we do anyway. But I'm just putting it out there so we can start looking into the future a little bit further. I think it'd be great for us. But this is what we're doing now is amazing. I'm just putting it out there.
Further comments? No. This is a public hearing item. If there's any member of the public who'd like to address this commission on item 8, which would authorize a 3-year agreement with Benchmark Analytics for various functions and service of our police department. Seeing no one in the chamber and no one online, we will close the public hearing. Colleagues, is there a motion to adopt item 8?
I'll move the motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
A motion by Commissioner Kai, a second by Vice Mayor Corey. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Yes, Commissioner Kaye,
Yes.
Commissioner Rodriguez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Corey,
Yes.
Mayor Fernandez.
Yes.
Item passes 4-0.
Thank you. Colleagues, we have 3 discussion items left. If I'm not mistaken, anyone want to take up first? Do you want to go and want to pick up on M3?
So, M3, last time we deferred it because Commissioner or Vice Mayor Corey wasn't here. Now
We missed
Commissioner
one
Bonich
each.
is, I think we should all be here to
Okay.
discuss, so.
You want to roll it to January
let's
20th?
Roll it to January.
Okay, so please show that item deferred to January 20th. Okay.
Thank you.
I'll quickly run through M1. Notwithstanding our best efforts to get to a negotiated understanding with Mr. Mandelstam, the owner of the Mandelstam School, including them having presented an application that created a bit of consternation on the part of some neighbors, given a last-minute request for an enrollment cap of 200 students. That application by the Mandelstam School was withdrawn, and I do not believe that as of today, we've heard whether they'd be willing to grant us an easement on any terms.
They are willing to grant us an easement. They want the ability to terminate it upon.
Upon the sale of the property, which would
Correct.
put us exactly in the same
In the same
position that
place.
we are in today.
That's
So I don't know how long we've been discussing this with them. I would say it's venture a guess easily over 6 months at this point in time. We've started I started this conversation with them with 2 intentions. One was to secure the benefit that we need, but also in response to some concerns that Mr. Mandelstam, who's obviously in the final, later years of his life, had expressed to me about wanting to help with some estate planning and making sure that his children could operate the school without any possible conflict in the future. We tried to do that in the form of a development agreement to kind of at least lock in his rights to the extent the statute would allow us for the maximum term. And unfortunately, those conversations for many reasons, and not despite I think the best efforts of his counsel, who's a personal friend and who I'd like to thank for investing considerable time trying to get us to an understanding. Unfortunately, that those conversations broke down. So colleagues, I think the better course here would be for us to authorize Mr. Rescio and our council to begin a quick take analysis for the needed easement and begin that process rather than necessarily explore an alternate execution on the park property itself. I think the preliminary analysis that we've done, it would be cheaper to acquire the rights based on a preliminary estimate from a third-party appraisal than it would be to even execute the improvements to the park itself and create the roadbed that would be required for fire access. And, another option here is if we want to scuttle this project altogether, that's certainly a possibility. At that point, I would probably want to figure out, have council do an analysis about whether or not we've got a claim against our design team for having spent, $250,000 of fees or money on a project that, had a critical defect in terms of access as part of the design execution. So I'm open to any of those conversations. Where would you guys like to take it? So I'm going to go end to middle and across. So, Mr. Kaya.
Mayor, and City Attorney, if we go the route of starting the process of eminent domain, are those fees covered through our current contract with the attorney's office, with you guys?
No, those would be additional fees.
Do we have an understanding what those fees would be?
We don't, they're hourly. I can provide an estimate of what the process
Yeah,
would
I'm
cost.
sure you guys
But
have done
it
this
all
before.
depends on how much pushback there is. The quick take occurs. So the way the quick take works is we have to do a five-factor analysis.
Yeah, so the analysis, okay, that's what I wanted to get to. So there's an analysis.
There is an analysis that
Okay.
has to be done. The Corradino Group, it's in your agendas. Corradino Group provided a proposal for that analysis. That would be the commencement. We would have to come back to you with the results of that analysis, where you all would review that analysis, determine whether you concur or not, and finding that there is a public interest in effectuating the eminent domain of this interest in the property, and directing us to file the quick take. So we would file, under that scenario, we would file the quick take. It's about a 6-month process. At the end of the 6 months, once the court determines, yes, there was a public interest, we have to put the money in the court registry immediately of whatever the appraised value of this is. So we'll have to do an appraisal as well along the way. That will be filed with the court registry. It is technically, at that point, it will happen. It's just a matter of a certain period of time to pass, and we become the owners of that interest in that property. And Mr. Mandelson walks away with the money that is in the court registry. That's the way the process works.
Assuming they accept the valuation. If they do not accept the
They could challenge
valuation,
the
they can challenge the valuation, and they could litigate, there'd be
They could do that.
Is it a bench trial or a jury trial?
I believe it's a bench trial.
Okay, so there'd be a trial, bench or jury, where there'd just be the sole claim would be a determination of the value.
It's all about value
Of
at that
the, of the easement. So I think at this point, that's the process.
Yep.
Again, it's not ideal, but that's the process. Sir, you recognize again.
Thank you, Mayor. How many, what's the approximate square foot of the land that we're looking to eminent
There
domain?
is a survey that's provided. It's about 220, roughly 220 feet lengthwise.
Square feet?
No, length.
No.
Length.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you. 4,384. Thank you.
It's gotta be
Mr.
220 by 15, roughly, correct?
Yes, but we don't need to have fee simple title to that. We would seek an easement over that area.
But the eminent domain process would give it a value,
Yes,
and we would have to pay set value
correct.
for 2,000 roughly square feet, correct?
For
4,000 square feet.
4,000.
Yeah.
Again, it's not a fee simple valuation. It's an easement interest valuation. So,
What does that look like?
do you want to?
When we ran the initial numbers, we estimated it was about 1/5 of the value of a fee simple interest.
So put it at $60 a foot.
Okay. 245.
I don't know. Again, this is not that's not a residential valuation, which this is not. So that would be, correct.
Which tends to be high.
No, I think it would be lower than the resi value.
Do we feel the negotiations are dead? That's it, we're final?
So nothing stops them from, nothing stops us from continuing to negotiate under this scenario while this process is moving ahead. Except the willingness of the other party.
And look, we had, to kind of give you full window into it, I think Mr. Resha came up with a very neat solution, which is, if in the future they decided to want to redevelop the lot, let's just say for what I think is probably the only feasible development alternative in my estimation, which would be a single-family execution, right, of whatever number of lots they could get on the parcel. I don't think there's another commercial use that the neighbors would accept without them heavily opposing and probably litigating the any sort of a entitlement scheme to reposition the asset. Mr. Resha had suggested that we would allow for the easement to be relocated to the southern 15 feet of the property. So it would basically take the same footprint. They'd probably need some sort of an access road onto the property, and it would have the least impact on any future redevelopment of the site. So that was proffered, and unfortunately not accepted by Mr. Mandelson. Sadly, the property owner, I think the history have a very difficult history. My personal observation of some of that baggage, notwithstanding our best efforts to kind of put that into the past, continues to hang a cloud over every discussion. I think, he's just concerned. He had to litigate to get the school established 30 years ago. His concern and apprehension about what's happening with the zoning was born of, I think, that history. There was a recent litigation regarding the telecommunications facilities that he had an adverse judgment on, then sued us to try to...
Still on life support.
Still on life support.
There was they filed a notice of appeal. The court directed them to file their brief within 10 days. Most recently, they filed a request for an extension of those 10 days.
So that's kind of, I think, the backdrop. It's, again, I think we have been, and I will tell you, his counsel on the other side is a lifelong friend of 30 years who I used to play basketball with every Sunday for the better part of 12 years. So deep personal relationship, a deep reservoir of trust. It's unfortunately that, I think, unfortunately did not bear any fruit. I'm bitterly disappointed, but it is what it is. Sir?
So this has been going on for over a year now, or what, year and a half, what?
The fire access issue has been going on for a year and a half. I think we probably, in earnest, started conversations with Mr. Mandelson about 9 months ago, I would say.
And maybe
It could be a year. I mean, I have battle
Yeah,
fatigue. so-
definitely before last November, so.
Yeah.
This fire access is all predicated on us doing the new building,
Correct.
correct? So I guess question number one is how would I say this? Are we actually gonna do the building? Are we set on doing the building? Because if we're not gonna do the building, then
And part of these conversations, I'll share with all of you. One scenario I threw out there was, we probably spent $3 million to build a modest 3,000 square foot building. I told him, I told Mr. Mandelson, I thought if he was interested, it would be worth us having a conversation about us possibly acquiring his property to make it an extension of the park. And again, fantastical thinking, but think about the fact that to build a pool, replacement facilities, a gym, right? There are a lot of elements there that would naturally complement the park. Would not require us to build a new building, and it's would be an asset that we could put immediately into service.
So
it's not a conversation he wanted to entertain. So,
okay.
but-
Because if we start looking at it, we have a 3,000 square foot building that we're gonna pay $3.5 million for, with a let's say
Yeah, it's
$50
yeah,
for
yeah.
4,000, 200,000 square feet. Now we're talking about $4 million plus whatever the attorney fees are for this eminent domain, and how long is that gonna take?
That's
let's-
why,
we- we should-
that's why I put on the table, we may
Like-
just want to scuttle the project altogether.
maybe just scratch it for now and see what happens in the future, but
But-
I mean, this little building has become a very expensive building.
Yes. So, I mean, and hence why I said, if we were going to go that route, though, I would love to see us have a conversation about getting our design fees back.
Yeah, I would strongly, in my opinion, I would start analyzing that aspect as far as like, do we just table that project for now? And maybe, and you're right, the engineer has error and omissions insurance where it covers things. They should have known that we needed a fire access.
Correct. Yeah. So again, I threw that option out there sincerely. I think that
No,
there's,
no, I agree with you.
the costs are, I mean, I think we need a new building. I think the restroom facility there is not up to par with the level of the park. It's probably the one out of the park that is in a condition that's below what I think our standard would be. So, but I do also do not want to continue to throw good money after bad. So I throw that out there sincerely of whether we want to revisit that as well. But I do not want to leave, if we make that decision, it would be my strong advice to the board that we have a conversation with the design team about, either through litigation or a negotiated resolution, recouping some of the substantial fees we've expended to design that facility. So, yes, sir.
Yeah, just, at some point, maybe the cost of doing it, it would be interesting how that compares to, and we've talked about it before, designing the building in the front and rebuilding a court in its place in the back. Because if this proposition begins to get up there in price, I wonder what the difference would be.
Yeah, no, thank you for mentioning that. Ben and I had talked at one point about whether the issue on access gets resolved that the building's built right on the parking apron, and we just take two tennis courts and push them to the west side, right? So essentially, they would sit on the footprint of what was the proposed building, and you keep the level of service the same, but you get the building in a place where this access issue goes away. So that is another scenario, and I guess my question is, where do we want to go with this broader conversation?
I mean,
in terms of analyzing our options.
There's a good conversation there as far as talking to the designers, as far as saying like the design you gave us doesn't work, and try to work out a deal where we can get a redesign, and hopefully
Correct.
favorable to the city for the errors that were made.
Just a disclaimer, because we looked at it a little bit, we sort of mapped it out. I mean, it may impact more than one court, depending on the size of the building and its location, and because they had the terrace in the back, so it may be more than one court. So financially, it may be more than this option, but I just, we've talked about it and brainstorming, so I just wanted to kind of bring it forward. I believe I wasn't on the last conversations, but I think the issue of this easement impacting the value of a property is amplified. I just don't think it's going to diminish the value of it, and, I don't know.
Certainly not for the present use. I mean, I
No.
think it says no impact on the design of the parking apron, its organization. I mean, it's and again, this is an easement for an absolute worst case scenario where you've got a fire at the structure, on a building that's, built to today's fire code. So likely never going to be used, but something we're required to have nonetheless.
And I don't know if it's worth pursuing, the appraisal of that and the value of that and how that gets incorporated into future years. If there's going to be a sale and there's a perceived reduction in the value, do we make that whole? And fill that gap? I can't see it being, I think it's amplified. I just can't see it diminishing the value of that site. If it was going to get redone completely, it's a different conversation, and I think we talked about, well, relocate it and have it closer to the fence. Unless they're going to put a building there, yeah, that could be an impact, but.
Mr. Guy, and he had his hand up, sorry. You next, and Vice Mayor, if you want to say something, let me know.
The sewer line that was coming into the proposed building was coming from the west, correct?
It will come in from the west. It stopped just at the western border of the park. It hasn't come in through the park yet, so yes.
So
it will.
if we move the building all the way to the east, we would have to cut all the way across.
Well, the issue is, I don't know.
There's
any
sewer
mains
access, there's
on
sewer
Red
access
Road.
on 57th, yeah. I
Yeah.
believe Park Villas is on sewer, so they probably could connect from
On 57?
57th Avenue. is my understanding, but you should confirm that. Let me get Vice Mayor Corey the conversation. I'll come back to you. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I would be concerned about going into some prolonged litigation with people who frankly prefer prolonged litigation
Yeah.
for some reason. And I'm okay with the idea of rethinking the project, of course, trying to recoup those costs, but I'm just trying to figure out how strategically best to do that, because I don't know if we can completely rely on recouping the cost on the design or having that architect move the building. So maybe it's better before we make this decision to approach the firm about that, because I don't know if we will be able to recoup those costs or create a deal to move the building.
You can file a claim on their errors and omissions, general liability.
Right.
And that's how you would recoup it, the insurance company would pay.
Look, it's not, none of these options are good options. I would
Yeah.
hate to, I hate the idea of having to talk about eminent domain. I hate the idea of having to talk about engaging in a conversation about malpractice with a provider, who I think in other cases has done very good work for the city. It's an unfortunate oversight, I think, in this case. But I think, I think the manager may be onto something in terms of next steps, which is, do we want to at least authorize an appraisal if we want to see this project move forward of what the easement could, in the worst case, be valued at, maybe get a range of what the exposure looks like, and then revisit this conversation? Or do we want to, at this point, are we just so fatigued with this conversation and the option, do we want to look at something more radical and reorganizing the tennis facility completely? I think that's an option. Or do we just want to say, let's kick the can and let's have a conversation with the designer about some combination of those two options? Either refund us some money, or we can pursue you, or come up with a conceptual plan for us to reconstruct the tennis facility. Yes, sir. Yeah, you go on
Thank
to
you.
next.
So to the city attorney, so right now, the contract, or the term for that is being negotiated is, Mandelstan's okay with it, but they would want that they can pull the property if they sell it. Can we put language in there that if they were going to sell it, that we can have a conversation with the buyers prior to sale, prior to closing, and then try to maybe not have to go through all this?
So I think the problem with
you guys are the attorneys.
the problem with their offer is not, it's not one of intention. I mean, it seems to me that the family's gonna operate the school for some amount of time,
Correct.
right? Certainly that seems to be from what I've heard, with their intention. The problem is, can we even get Fayette County approval with an easement with that kind of language in it? So I don't know that is the problem.
Yeah.
There's no minimum term of years.
Yeah.
If they would tell us, look, we want a minimum term of years, we'll give it of 10 years, then it gives us some certainty, but they were not willing, again, you can correct me, they were not willing to commit to that. They wanted to have the optionality, if they needed to sell, that it would be terminated, and it would not, the property would not be burdened further. Yeah.
All right, my opinion, it would be, let's move forward with the understanding of what the price, all the numbers are allocated for eminent domain, so we have that ready to go. Let's give this one more shot as an opportunity to do so. I don't think the other two options are viable, whether moving it to the north, to the east, or bringing fire from the other sides. It's just too much disruption for the park and cost heavy. Lastly, we'll have that as a third option, is to do cost recovery on design fees. Those will be my three-headed monster there.
So you're recommending we get an appraisal?
Not an appraisal, an understanding of costs.
Costs, litigation costs.
Yeah, litigation costs, fee costs, the whole
Would you want to know,
enchilada.
would you want to have, I think, to the manager's point, a formal appraisal of what you think your exposure would be?
The
Can they
exposure.
do a pencil already?
They've done, I thought,
Yes.
am I recalling that, I think the initial estimate was like $16,000?
For what?
Chip, what was the number that Magenheim had given us? It was less than do you guys remember?
For the appraisal?
For the value of the easement.
The value of the easement, there are no severance damages.
Yeah.
They don't lose their parking lot.
They don't, yeah.
Lose the
There's no impairment, there's no impairment on their operation. Yeah. straightforward.
Very low value
Yeah.
to them because they don't lose, and they don't, I don't think they lose any parking spaces either because they don't have parking spaces over in the southwest corner.
Yeah, so Commissioner Guy, my recollection of the conversation with Magenheim was it was well below $50,000, right, in terms of the value of the easement. So that's what made, that's my recollection. I could be wrong, but that's what made this option seem viable to me. And I was really using it more because he had kind of walked away and we were trying to get a little bit of negotiating leverage. But, you know, I think we had looked at an execution option for the actual creation of a road for the west side or on the south side of the tennis courts. And it was, I think, just over $100,000, was it not? And in my recollection of the two options, this one was cheaper than the design and construction of the roadway, which is why it seemed like it was viable. Yes, sir.
What was that number, city manager?
Remember? What's his name?
Roughly between 150 to 160, $160,000.
And that's from the west,
That's
west
from
side?
the west side, and the cost on the
East side?
east side was relatively the same. It was marginal in difference,
And that's with all the trees, everything, all costs included?
pretty much. No trees would, it's on the west side, no trees would have been affected.
On the east.
However, on the east side, there were about 3 or 4 very, mature trees will be hit.
The monument with the name of the sculpture garden would have to be moved if it's
Move
coming
further
from the
south,
east.
yeah.
Can't go back home if we mess that up.
Yeah. And then the requirement from the fire department would be because the approach really is invisible, it just looks like grass, that there would be signage at certain intervals to readily alert, the responding units that that's where the fire access is. So.
You'd have signage over the,
Yeah, so if you come from the west, obviously, we got a lot more signs that would have to be
installed.
from the back all the way to the front, so you really couldn't tell. You're looking like a grassy meadow, but then you would have these signs at intervals saying access
So
here.
basically, we're looking at, was it structural soil? A structural soil execution, right?
It's a
With
grass
turf
paver
block?
block
Oh, paver block, yeah.
that is approved, and Miami-Dade Fire said that they would accept it, had told us they would accept it. So yeah, when you're looking at it, it just looks like a lawn, grassy lawn.
Except for the signs.
But because of that, it's hard to even know where it is, and so that's where they would have this requirement of signage at certain intervals. The west is a longer run, so you would have a number of signs, in that open meadow, which kind of kills the beauty of that west side.
Would they accept sculptures over signs?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, you're recognized.
I guess the only way I see moving forward is, what Commissioner Kaya said, let's get all the numbers, and at the same time, let's do what the manager said, let's get an appraisal, because that's still part of the numbers, and see what the overall cost is going to be for us, and then make a decision at that point. I think, if we don't know all the costs and we don't know what we're gonna actually be spending, then, I think we're just gonna be talking here.
Okay, so, I guess the direction is let's do the preliminary budgeting, and then we'll come back and have a conversation about whether we want to authorize the action further. Okay, thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Yes, sir.
Last thing,
Yes, sir.
the negotiation's been going on between you, the mayor, Mr. Resio.
Mostly it's been, so I quite honestly stepped out for a good portion. I had an initial conversation, Mr. Parrish, who was his counsel, Mr. Winkler at one point, another lawyer was representing him, had kind of stepped aside. Andy Parrish, who's been a developer maybe for the last 20 years, but is a lawyer by training, is still licensed at the Florida Bar, kind of stepped in to help. And he and I had an initial conversation. I kind of explained to him what I was trying to accomplish by way of direction so he could communicate it to the client. And then, we had intermittent conversation, but most of the conversation happened through our city attorney and his counsel. I have been getting probably at this point more regular updates from Mr. Resio than any direct conversation with Mr. Parrish. I have not had any direct engagement with Mr. Mandelstam in
And
6
just to be
months.
clear, negotiations were they were not contentious.
Yeah.
Mr. Parrish was a pleasure to deal with. He's known him for a long time as well.
He's both he used to be a planning board member at
Yeah.
the city of Miami, so we both have appeared before him many
That's
times
right.
as well.
But the final, basically the final word, the last word that we got from them was, Mr. Mandelstam is willing to sign over the easement for no compensation. He was going to give it for free, provided that he can terminate it at any time if he sells the property. And I just told him, we can't, that doesn't solve the problem. So I had suggested, and Mr. Parrish was going to go try to talk to Mr. Mandelstam, but I don't think he's gotten a positive response yet. But basically, instead of termination, can we just move it? If you want to sell the property at the option of you or the buyer, we just move it to the south and just put it right along we wouldn't put it there now because it would mess with their parking. But if they want us to move it to the south, I think we could accommodate that without a problem, because the fire would still have their access.
The reason thank you, Tony, or the reason I was asking is that Mr. Mandelstam is my neighbor. So I wanted to see what, if I can take a shot at it.
Yeah, I would just, and you're welcome to, please, because frankly, I don't think any of us I certainly don't want to be in this position with him. As I said, the idea originated from his anxiety, frankly, about concern he had about a zoning designation, and I frankly just wanted to respond to it. And I thought we could get to a very obvious understanding. I will share with you that the conversation really broke down when at the 11th hour, he introduced this issue about the enrollment numbers, and my reaction was, you're opening up a can of worms with neighbors. I would advise.
Which you did, by the way.
Which you did, and we've all gotten correspondence, and I dealt with a lot of phone calls about very upset neighbors thinking that we were trying to basically give him a gift. And so,
And we still don't know what their actual student count is.
we don't have any, and their development order does not limit it. So, what he had asked for originally was a very modest expansion of 2,700 square feet onto basically the reposition of one building to elevate so you could create some at-grade parking and have the art room elevated on a second story.
And we were okay with that.
And we were fine with that. And he proposed the addition of another, I think it was 2,000 square feet on the southern end of an existing building. Again, kind of elevated. It was 3 stories, but 2, I would say, habitable floors, right? Very modest depth to create some more classroom space and allow for the parking that's in front of the historic building to remain. So from my perspective, the development request was de minimis. I thought one that was very defensible to the community, but when he put the issue of the numbers, and I think there's a concern on his part about the viability of the school long-term for his children to operate it. That was what was communicated to us. It became certainly an issue of contention with a lot of the neighbors on the west side, and,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
So, okay, I think we've given the manager direction. If we can get an appraisal of what the easement value would be or a range, we'll see how we move, and a cost for the scope of work on the part of council, we can decide if you move forward or not. Okay, moving on to the last discussion item, which is the solid waste interlocal. Again, I think you all are pretty up to speed on what the county has proposed by way of a third amended interlocal for solid waste services. There are 5 contract cities: Homestead, Miami Springs, West Miami, North Bay Village, and us, whose contracts are expired currently. We've been presented an amendment to sign. That amendment, I think we talked about some modifications before. The county did incorporate some changes with regard to composting and some other issues. So we are grateful for that. But structurally, the problem I see with the contract is that it requires a 20-year term, and we get really no cost containment beyond the short remaining life of the county's existing landfills or any additional capacity they could create in them. And if you follow the conversation at the county commission, both the District 1 Commissioner, Oliver Gilbert, and the Districts 8 and 9 commissioners that represent the southern end of the county are hell-bent on opposing any landfill capacity expansions. So And the board has danced around that issue for the better part of the last 3 years, and the siting of the incinerator still remains an open question. Complicating matters further for us is that there's a lease on the Coral Gables West Transfer Facility, which is where we are currently tipping our trash, is about to expire. And from my best observation, both the county and Coral Gables are entrenched in their respective positions. I'm not trying to decide who has the better argument there, but they're entrenched. And the best possible outcome in the short term that may come from those discussions is a one-year extension on the county's ability to use that facility. So I was privy to a meeting that Mayor Lago organized with mayors from West Miami and the rest of South Dade, including Pinecrest, Homestead, Florida City. I think only the mayor of Florida City did not participate, where they were inviting us to consider joining them in an effort to dispose of our green waste. And as part of that plan, they had discussed the decommissioning of the West Transfer Facility. So certainly I think we're interested in finding ways to divert green waste from the waste stream because we save money and it's environmentally a better thing to do. But the resolution that they proffered created another issue, was where do we take our trash? And so by our staff's own analysis, taking trash to Medley or other facilities implicates costs, more time, likely us having to increase manpower and fleet, and that gets expensive for a municipality our size. So colleagues, my posture is, and I've had some conversations. I mean, thank you to Mr. Munoz and the city manager, have really leaned in and had conversations with colleagues of the county at their respective levels. I do not believe that it's in our best interest to execute the interlocal as it's been modified. I don't think that we are, historically, these are 10-year agreements. Throughout the term, we get cost containments. I understand the world for the county has changed, but their exposure should not be shifted, that burden of that exposure should not be shifted to us, right? And I think that's what they're doing contractually if we sign this. My understanding is that Homestead is going to be executing the interlocal. I've spoken to the mayor of West Miami. He's willing to hold out and wait to see if we can negotiate a resolution for the use of our site. I've not been able to connect with the mayor of Miami Springs or the mayor of North Bay Village. I'll try to do that over the week, but I think that we've certainly gotten the county's attention by having this item on the agenda and looking at optionality. My preliminary conversations with a couple different organizations, that there is interest in the use of the facility for rail, but more so in the short term for the marshaling, as a marshaling yard for tipping trash. I think Mr. Munoz and the manager have thought through a series of criteria, which is in the memo, about what maybe an RFP that we could issue could look like in terms of requirements. Certainly my concern, the concern with not signing the interlocal is that our short-term costs could escalate substantially. We go from, a fee that has the punitive, a 10% penalty above what the current contract rate is. So any sort of disposition option that we would do outside the county's facilities or county's system would have to provide for some sort of an interim bridge for us to get there, right? So that it would be cost neutral to us, if that's possible. So that's an element I think that's in the criteria. And lastly, I think on the positive side, earlier I reported that the mayor and Mr. Coley have expressed now a willingness to extend our current interlocal on a month-to-month basis while we explore options. They would like to now engage us in conversations. I'm open to having conversations. My precondition, which I communicated to the manager, was that if we're going to do that, they need to give us a month-to-month extension so we're not forced to sign this agreement, because once we signed, the only way out of it, as I read it, is through our mutual agreement to terminate, which is not a position I want to be in. So that's kind of the state of play at the moment. My hope is that we will be able to engage the county in what we've always wanted, which is a real conversation about how we can use our facility to kind of contain our costs, right? If we can monetize it, all the better, but at the very least not put us in any worse position than we are today. And that there seems to be a reopening for that. But notwithstanding that, I want to verify what we can do here. And I think the best way to verify it is to at least put something together where we can test the market. The county's willing, in my opinion, welcome to respond to it. We may end up doing the deal with them and pulling the RFP, but at least we'll have some information of what how the marketplace values our site. And, you know, at least there seems to be some interest. This would probably require us to dedicate the full public works yard to this kind of an operation. And there's probably some other, you know, that would require us to consider some other scenarios for the relocation of our public works staff and resources. But it may bear out that the deal, if we follow the lead of Medley, which basically controls its own destiny in this area, you know, their situation is rather rich, and I think would probably make then the financing of whether it's an acquisition or lease of other space for our public works facility something worth exploring. So that's what I wanted to share. I want to get your feedback on how we want to maybe engage in this conversation going forward as a body.
I'm not familiar with the process with Medley. Can you explain that?
So Medley operates its own municipal facility. I think, Tony, you
Yeah.
can probably best
So-
summarize the posture.
Yeah, Waste Management has a facility within Medley, as we understand it, and they have a deal directly with Medley.
Is it Medley land?
Yes.
Sorry?
It's
Yes,
Medley.
it's a landfill, yeah.
But it's Medley land.
It's Medley land.
It's Medley land, that's
Yes,
correct.
Medley
that's
owned
correct.
land.
It's operated by Waste Management. And the Medley takes their solid waste there. Now that facility is being included as part of the county system.
Historically, it's not been.
But the deal that they have with Waste Management is they put their solid waste in there for a rate between Waste Management and them. as
Out of
opposed
the
to
county's
through the county
service.
system. Right. That's Medley's special deal because it's their land. So
And so,
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Is it waste by rail there?
no.
So it's just a transfer station?
I think, yeah, I actually think it's a
Or it's a fill?
I think it's a fill facility.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's listed in the agreement.
But I think the attractive part of that obviously is that it's you know, that what we're learning is that there's not an inconsequential spread between what the county pays its vendors to dispose of trash at those facilities, well above what we pay. And so, you know, Medley is reaping significant savings, and on top of that, because it is their land, they get a host fee, basically rent, which is very substantial as well. So, you know, I've had 3 operators approach me and say, look, we think we can do something here that would be economically attractive if you're willing to go down a path. I think one of the challenges is, for a lot of the operators, is many of them are contract parties to agreements with the county. And so no one wants to do a direct deal with anyone, which is why I think we saw someone from outside the market be interested, because they didn't have that relationship potentially to damage. But the feedback we've gotten is if there's a formal solicitation issued, we would consider responding, because at that point, it's available to everyone in the marketplace.
Are we, I'm sorry. Are you guys aware of the transfer station or the waste services that they're trying to implement down by 3 Lakes, down south?
Yeah.
Tony, are you familiar with that by any chance?
I'm sorry.
There's a transfer, I'm not sure if it's a transfer station or waste station, but it's right off the rail, closer to Deerwood, what is it? 3 Lakes in that area, down south by the zoo?
Oh, yes, I'm familiar with it. But that was, that facility, I believe,
It's a new facility.
it's a new facility, but I don't think it was approved from a zoning perspective. So I ran into them, I think it was our same partner, had retained a zoning firm to process an application to site a facility.
American Waste, you mean?
Huh?
American Waste?
American Waste.
Okay.
Yeah. And I believe I believe that did not meet with the approval of the local CZAP.
The
So,
CZAP, okay.
yeah.
Is that what happened? I didn't know, because it's on the same rail that we would
It
be
is,
using.
yeah. So I think so.
The
I think so.
CSX.
American Waste was trying to. That was their first site.
Oh, it was.
They were trying to create multiple sites along the same rail spur to basically create a volume with the rail provider that they could make the deal work. So, yeah.
I'm going to bring this up because Commissioner Bonich said it, and I don't know its viability. I don't know the possibilities of it. But are we able to explore if we do some sort of smaller next-gen incinerator on our lot, where one of the, explore one that doesn't have emissions no black smoke.
I think for facilities, I would say for that, it's probably too small. I don't want to, certainly not an expert, but we are.
I mean, we would only do one maybe for us and take in a couple of the cities that want to profit off it, but it would definitely help us. I don't know, maybe is it something we can explore?
You would be going off the county's system, by the way.
Yeah, we would be
It's fine,
getting rid of
just-
our own trash.
Or, just as an alternative, so there is an exception for what's called a resource recovery facility in a municipality. And that can be done without an interlocal agreement. A resource recovery facility is not recycling. That is a recovering either energy or materials from the waste. So it's I believe that's what you're describing.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
talking about a small waste energy plant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there is an exception. We would have to demonstrate by preponderance of the evidence that the operation of that facility would not significantly impair financial commitments made by the county
And
with respect to solid waste. So that's we would have to show that.
no, that's great. Actually, one of the entities that were bidding on the incinerator is FPL.
Yeah, but I mean, respectfully, I think this would be, at the size we're talking about, probably not something that they would be interested in. I mean, I don't see it as particularly viable from that perspective. It's just too small. But I mean,
The quickest path is making a deal with the county to be part of their system, and this would be one of their system sites, and modify the interlocal agreement to address that. That would be, but we have proposed that in the past, and it hasn't moved.
so yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead.
that's the point, is it hasn't moved. We've done that before.
Mm-hmm.
We've tried to provide solutions, and I don't want to be locked in as well without having the opportunity to do other things, you know, like you're locking us in already.
Yeah.
That was a tough
So at this point, yeah, I believe that, as the mayor mentioned in the 5 o'clock meeting, if they're willing to accept a month to month while we explore these options, I think that's the best scenario in the interim.
And again, I think we can have direct negotiations with them. I don't know whether are we required to bid this under code of silence? Or can we waive the code of silence for one party, another public agency? Under our procurement code.
That would give them a benefit. I don't think you can do that, right, Tony?
Well, I think so. What I'm trying to look, the county's going to want us to, and, at this point, the message, I think the tone, the posture's changed, right? The fact that we're willing to go this route, I think, has sent them a message that we want to be. I've made it very clear. Our goal is not to break a system, right? We want to be part of the solution. Our goal has been from the beginning cost containment and making sure that we are not just blindly signing on to something that's going to put the city in 5 years in substantial financial jeopardy, right? Because for us, just the additional transfer fees was a significant revenue hit. So I think they understand our motivation. It's not intended to be adversarial, but at this point, I think also we'd be foolish to believe that if we could repeat the exercise of the last 2 years, we're going to get a different result, right? And so I think if we can begin to structure an RFP based on the criteria that we have, if you guys have comments on that, I think we should vet it. But I'd like to direct the manager to begin to put together an instrument, right? So that's released at the beginning of the year, right? That allows us to get some feedback from private operators about what kind of facility could be viable here, right? That would allow us to create some cost containment on the disposition side. And then, if we can carve out the county, they were certainly welcome to submit. And we can have a parallel path of negotiation with them about them doing maybe a joint venturing with us on actually developing a facility that we would own the land, but they would own the facility. So basically, the Coral Gables model, I'll use that as the reference point, which is the case there, right? The county owns the improvements, Coral Gables owns the land. It's subject to a long-term lease. We certainly, there are a lot of lessons that could be learned how the economics of that deal were structured, because it's become very disadvantageous to Coral Gables, I think, in its current posture, which is what the source of the. Yeah, sir, go ahead.
The consequences of doing the RFP, and I'm going to ask the city manager to chime in on this. the consequences of the RFP would be that we signal that we're potentially not going to be in the system. The consequences to that would be that our fees would go up significantly at almost a 2x rate. Am I accurate and roughly on those numbers?
No, not, so that the idea.
Not if it's month to month, but you understand the consequence. What is what is our interlocal agreement number on the tipping fees?
115
115, and we're currently at 74?
compared to 76.
76?
Yeah.
Wow. So we see the delta.
Mhm.
That's the consequences. It's a tough one.
Look, I think this, and I don't, to me, it's frankly, I don't want to use this word. To me, it's surprising that we would have added a contract over the county for 2 years, right? And I will tell you that Mr. Munoz, as of a year ago, had been signaling to them, hey, our interlocal is expiring. Are you guys working on a revised draft? And that document got dropped 65 days ago. It appeared on the first committee. We weren't notified of it. I found out, frankly, from a lobbyist that works the county very aggressively, who told me, hey, aren't you doing some trash stuff? Sent me the document. And that's the first indication we got that they were putting forward this alternate interlocal. I mean, to me, that's not the way, if I were in their shoes, I would do business with anybody at the local level. And I'm not, frankly, inclined to accept being treated as an afterthought, because the consequences to us of the current impasse or the current inability to fashion a solution to the trash disposition process is not one of our making. And I don't think that we should be expected to bear the cost. The standard is a tough standard legally to overcome by the way they've drafted the thing. But I will tell you that I think there's an argument to make that cities like ours subsidize the rate base of UMSA taxpayers, right? Notwithstanding that they pay a separate trash fee, right? Because their millage rate is so preposterously low, right? That there's probably a little bit of gamesmanship happening. And the county has, for a long time, depressed the cost of, to keep that fee, the trash fee low, not raise it. They have suppressed the cost of that fee. They haven't raised it consistently to meet their operational costs. That money's coming out of somewhere. And it's probably coming out of the countywide general fund. It's probably coming out of, and at our expense, right? So if they want to have that argument, I think, guys, we have to, unfortunately, there's not a lot of people that are pushing this issue. I don't understand why, frankly. It's an existential issue for us as cities.
I don't think none of us disagree with
Yeah. So, but is there risk? Yeah. And I think the only thing we can do is, if we put out the solicitation, whoever we decide to belly up with on this and do a deal with has got to figure out a way for us to kind of come out on the back end in a cost-neutral position, because I certainly don't want to saddle our taxpayers with a $40 ton differential.
Mayor?
Yeah, of course.
I would be inclined to move forward with the RFP, but after a deferment of this particular conversation, as we now know that there's a lot better dialogue between our city and the county on this situation. So I think I would want to wait until next meeting and defer it until next.
Well, I'm not expecting us to take action on the RFP today. I think what I would wanted to do from this conversation. No, what I wanted to do today, if I can clarify what my intention is, was to direct the manager to begin to prepare one. Okay.
All right.
And then maybe on 120, if it's ready, or if it's ready, if it needs to be ready sooner, we can call a special meeting. But at some point in the future, we can authorize the issuance after we've seen it and had a chance to kick the tires on it.
Mayor, it's a complicated issue. I think it's, with the holidays coming up, I think that's giving them a very short time frame.
No, I think we've got, I think if you look at the memo, you've got the elements of what we would want to see a respondent address. So I think it's been, Alex and Chip, to their credit, have really, leveled up here and I think put together a solid base. We've got to get in the right posture. I don't think we should issue it until after the holidays. We're not going to get.
No,
yeah. So, but if we find ourselves in a position where conversations are broken down we may need to act quickly. And so I would just rather be in a position where we're working on it and it's close to ready, and at least, I think by 120, we hopefully would be in a position where we could approve it, its issuance, and get it to the market. Sir? Yeah.
Yeah, just what I think I heard, but I just want to be clear that we would be working in parallel tracks,
Mhm.
that the conversations with the county would provide the ability, based on your conversation tonight, to stay the signing of,
Yep.
as long as we're engaging in earnest conversations with them. But parallel track to do the work and the research and the framework for an RFP.
Correct.
Right? And at some point, one of those will
Yeah.
continue as a path. And I don't think we'll be in harm's way in the short term, as long as we are negotiating in earnest with the county for a possible partnership.
Agreed.
I think we all agree. So
Yeah.
I think we're of like mind. I would just want to add, because, when it goes off the radar screen, people forget about it. I would say we should have a goal of having the RFP agended for 120. We can choose to defer to that time, but at least we have a goal to get it to that point, and it also continues to signal that we are committed to exploring that option.
Yeah, and I would tell you, the credit is more well-placed on the director and Alex's work, along with the city attorney and their team. Obviously, they represent other cities that are in a similar situation, so thanks for the comments, but certainly the yeoman's job has been done by Alex on our case, so
Well,
appreciate that.
Thank you to everyone.
Yeah, and I want to thank you guys for allowing me to add it to our priorities, being a very prime, I think what you said was correct, that I don't understand why a lot of municipalities in the county, well, I'm sure the county's doing it, but why there's not a collective roar for a change here. So we should, as a city, really start making some noise here and try to figure out best solutions for us. I mean, it's for our kids and our future, so it's a no-brainer on my side. I want to make sure the county understands that.
Anything else we want to add before we close? Okay, so I think, Mr. Manager, you're clear, and appreciate, again, everyone's work on this item. Colleagues, all we have left are commission reports, any discussion, remarks, anything anybody wants to add for the record?
I have a quick thing.
Please, go ahead, yeah.
I'm just bringing this up now for John Q. and to the manager. I was at South Miami Park yesterday, and for some reason, maybe you guys already are aware of this, all the grass that's in between the walkway and the fields on the south side is mud. It's all dead. I took a picture of it, I'll show you after. I was just afraid you guys might leave as soon as he knocks on that gavel, so I just wanted to make it, just take a look at it, see it, because all the grass, I don't know why. Apparently not on the north side, but on the south side. It's all dead, it's all mud. There does look like there's some tire tracks through that mud, so I don't know if someone's driving their car or driving a truck or something through there, but it's awful to walk through it.
Is it maybe part of the construction that they're finalizing? The last thing they'll do is put the sod
No,
back
it's
in.
all
it
the
should be
way by
fine.
the container. I thought that too, but it's by the container.
Oh, no, but that's always been like that.
But look, I'll show you.
We'll definitely look into it. It should be unrelated to the restroom construction project. They're not in that area.
And it's the whole way from the walkway, from the park.
If we wouldn't have done the artificial grass, the whole field would be like that.
Oh, no, 100%. I said, this is exactly what
That's a fact.
my daughter proved it. I know.
That's a good,
He's giving you grief.
I know.
Okay, anything else? Commissioner Kaye? Well, thank you all. Let's, we stand adjourned.